welcome back to Metrunner Good. My name's Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is Thursday, June the 25th. Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Welcome. A lot of people in chat already. That was a long countdown, admittedly. We started late. It's been a bit of a mess this week. How's everyone doing? Welcome. Hope you're doing all right. Jessica, Marc-Andre, how you doing? Yo, representing the YouTube crowd. What's good? Hey, Officer Andre. Yo, what up, Rob? Hello, Flanders. Thanos, what's up? Space Kitten, also, how's it going? Parallel, yay for Netrunner Thursdays. I feel the same way, too. I'm actually... so it's been a bit of a mess this week, but we'll talk through that in a second. And Narco, oh boy, time for my weekly attempt to stay up and watch Metrunner Grid. You're not going to be all alone this time, says Space Kitten. Yo, get your rest if you can. I've been going to sleep a bit too late. You can tell I have big bags under my eyes most of the time. And sleep is undervalued. It's good. It's good. What's with the mustache? I used to have this mustache. What's in isolation stays in isolation. Oof. I used to have a mustache like this as of last year. At the end of last year, it was kind of, I did dress up as Ned Flanders for Halloween. I do have the glasses and the face, and I've gone back to it. Thematically, in the long run, this might make sense. I had to do this for something else to make sense, but we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. For now, in a couple like hours, it's gonna be normal, right? I remember the stash. Yeah, what I'm saying. Yeah, right. At some point, this was a thing. Billy, nice stash. Thanks, rocking it. Thank you. Also, Chris says System Gateway. Yeah, we have so much news to go through. We really do. That Flanders stash is back. Hey. Looks good to be. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I can't cut my hair, so I can cut some of my hair. It's fine. Oh no, your face, it's back. Oh boy, oh boy. Anywho, so it's been kind of a messy week. It's been a bit rough week. I'm pretty exhausted. It's been really busy at work. So I promised on the weekend a couple things. I promised that we would have a video out talking about the ban list 2006. I'd like to say that I did. Well, I can say I did record it as of Monday night, and we finished recording at about 1:30. The issue is the video is 2 hours long. And I think I'm gonna have to redo it because it's 2 hours long and it seems like a bit too much. I try to go into things with this understanding of like people who've almost just gotten to Netrunner to try and understand everything with the history of each card, and we go into every ban change. I don't think I organized it well. Like, I'm jumping between runner and corp, I'm jumping between all over the place. I'm basically going through their whole article. It's not good. I think I want to redo it, which I don't know if I even have time this weekend. So that's not out. We got to work on that for a bit. 2 hours. Yeah, the video is 2 hours. And then there's a nice face though. It's really, really, really long. I did the isolation haircut this week, and hey, it's short at least. Yeah, it feels good in the summer, huh, Baza? Assuming it's summer, right? Yeah. Honestly, same. I'm glad to hear that. I feel like if it's 2 hours though, at least it has to be a bit more substantial. I feel like I repeated myself a bit too much. I don't know. I think I might take another shot at it. Maybe I'll just listen to it because maybe I'm being too hard on myself. It's hard to find 2 hours to listen to the thing and edit it. So we'll get there. Clicot says it's fine. Give us the whole 2 hour documentary. It's wild. The other thing is that I said that we'd stream on Tuesday or Wednesday because Wednesday's a holiday here in Quebec. Unfortunately, I'm very busy at work right now, so I actually did not take a holiday. I felt like I had too many things to do too soon, so I actually worked on the Wednesday, and I'm going to take a holiday on a different day, still pending. So I just kind of pushed that forward because I'm pretty busy. In fact, today, I'm still pretty busy. I haven't had dinner yet. It's been a bit of a mess, but I'm still pretty excited to play some Netrunner. So we might have a day stream sometime in the near future. But yeah, sorry that none of that stuff came through the way that I thought it would. It kind of all did fall apart, unfortunately. Andre, I got a blue Haley deck for you tonight. I don't even know what that means, Steven. Blue as in like it's offensive? Or just like grappling hook stuff? 2 hours is technically short compared to catching up with stream VODs. Sure. Yeah, I agree. I think 2 hours is short. It's just like, I don't know. I didn't feel good about it. Like, I recorded the whole thing and I was like, wait, that could have been faster. I don't know. Like, for instance, one of the topics is I talked for maybe half an hour about why losing the restricted cards is like losing a big tool for balancing Netrunner. And like, it's not necessary. Like, it's not a necessary conversation to talk about like what the restricted list could offer. So I don't know. You get some, you lose some. That doesn't make any sense here. I realize the window's open. I'm just going to close that so you don't hear street noise. Give me 1 second. put the air conditioning on, so it'll be nicer in here. Everyone's falling apart. No need to apologize. Yeah, really, it kind of is that fact, isn't it? Life happens, all good. We'll get to all that stuff soon. We definitely will get to all of that soon. Today, I only really planned one thing, and one thing I'm really excited about, which is no film critic, so we can play the best card in all of Netrunner. How do people interact with this card? Uh-oh. Like, think about it. You build a Glacier remote, and then you cast and call in a Fly on the Wall. What do they do? Probably lose. This card looks so good. Crew, Old Hollywood Grid, almost. I was considering this. Uh-oh. By any means, no, not that one. This seems really cool. I'm really into this. I don't feel like a lot of runners can deal with this. Like, even for tempo, you just like install anything. Heck, you could even install some agendas naked with this and it'd be a big enough issue. Especially if you have a false lead, right? They deuces not Citadel. They deuces NOH Citadel. Yeah, so that's a possibility, right? Like a meta shift. So criminals have some options. They do have Citadel, no one home, all that sort of stuff. How does no one home work? Is it any amount of tags or the first tag you take? The thing is, like, I don't know if people have pivoted to play those cards just yet. Any number of tags. So that one's pretty good. The thing with cast and call is, like, I want to play cast and call with in Argus with false lead. So even just dealing with it's hard with the Argus ability. The thing this is Imp. Yep, Imp is the biggest thing. But this is on Axis, so it gets around Imp. But Imp is basically new film critic, right? Ahoy, Andre, happy Thursday. US is a dumpster fire. Please distract us with some sweet agenda rips. Oh yeah, we're gonna get there. Jogging, what's up? How you doing? Everyone has access to Whistleblower who plays that. Exactly, Flip. And we want to force everyone to have to play Whistleblower. Whistleblower is actually not... Is it good against Cast and Call? Well, it's good because the agenda's installed face up, so it's really easy to get value. But... What's it called? Whistleblower? Is Whistleblower an Axis effect? Yeah, so this gets around access, right? Because you're no longer accessing it? Or is that not the case? If the runner's turn, Whistleblower resolves first. Okay, yeah, so they can get around it, whatever. You avoid the tags with Whistleblower, Jessica says. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I was playing around with the exact combo earlier today out of Sync, looking forward to seeing what you do with it. Yo, Billy, what's up? Yeah, in Sync, that's actually really mean as well. The issue is, like, all the tech that deals with this, like... I think Sync could definitely still be a strong deck. It is technically a 40 card minimum if you want to play that same sort of NBN shell that people were playing classically in Asmari, although the ability is probably not as good, specifically with misdirection around. But it seems interesting. False lead, cast and call, seems gross. You ignore the cost of the agenda, but not of the upgrades protecting it. On what? On Whistleblower? A lot of Krim influence in my Haley. That's what it means for blue. Steven, are you gonna play it or are you gonna share it? The other card that came up that I think actually is like totally reasonable play right now is Old Hollywood Grid, which is just such a fun card. Again, this has less tech against it. You basically have to trash this run back or Imp. Yeah, Imp to destroy the agenda, or again, like by any means, or because I can, or any of the really weird niche stuff. But this card, like we played against decks where people were playing this. You play one of every different agenda and NBN, probably 2 influence. You can play this anywhere, and then you have something cool. I think that still stands. NBN has some pretty good agendas, like weird one-ofs. They can get away with this, and this seems okay. It's obviously very expensive. I imagine you want some sort of restore for this. I don't know whether you what's that HB card that lets install it? It's probably good. It is an upgrade to hosted condition counter. Okay, wait. Does Whistleblower talk about upgrades? Whenever you make a successful run, you may trash this resource to name an agenda. Next time this turn, you access a copy of the named agenda, steal it, ignoring all costs. I think you can steal it, because this isn't a cost. Yeah. So you skip the additional cost. So this Whistleblower doesn't get through Old Hollywood Grid, does it? Agenda's access from the server cannot be stolen unless the runner already has a copy. That's not considered an additional cost. An additional cost would be something like Obakata, which says as an additional cost to steal, right? Yeah. Whistleblower should ignore upgrade costs as well, I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't get around effects to prevent you stealing. So the other things are like, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name. Ben Musashi. And I think Ben Musashi says as an additional cost to steal. Which, yeah, Whistleblower should get around that. Yeah, an additional cost in order to steal. So specifically cards that say you can't steal, and I think might be the only one in the whole game, if I'm not mistaken. This one doesn't give a shit. I feel like Whistleblower could be less confusingly worded. Yeah, probably. Is it that confusing? The fact that like the first, I think that Nisei's been really good at wording cards in ways that are very aware of the rules and pitfalls in the rules. Like they've been doing a really good job at that. But the fact that the first FAQ is like, hey, does this actually work the way that we think it does? And they have to answer it. Like, obviously that seems like an issue. Yeah, but whatever. Alex, what's up? We're going to play some Casting Call. I think we're going to start with the deck list of the week. We played this one before, but we didn't show it off. I think we drew pretty terribly with it. So we're going to give it another shot. It's basically Rob's pretty good zero-based Apocalypse deck. I'd assume it's actually really good. It's very good against like acid meta. We basically, when we played it last time on the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't zero aggressively enough. We just have to zero all the time. The idea with this deck is you don't care if you zero away like your Apocalypses or any of your value cards because you have 3 labor rights and that really doesn't matter. The economy in the deck is pretty minimal. It's just Stim Hacks, Sure Gamble, Daily Cast Liberated, and zero obviously can be an economy card. And oh, you have Dirty Laundry as well. I guess Hashiko value as well, but it was pretty fun. Are we concerned Whistleblower makes OHG unplayable? No, Whistleblower doesn't do anything against OHG. Whistleblower doesn't care about OHG. Lakshmi probably has the same wording. Oh yeah, Lakshmi probably does have the same wording, doesn't it? No, as an additional cost. No, it says the runner can't steal. Yeah, you're right. That's another can't steal. The runner cannot steal. So OHG, Whistleblower doesn't care about Lakshmi, or sorry, Lakshmi doesn't care about Whistleblower, and Old Hollywood Grid doesn't care about Whistleblower. So if people are playing Whistleblower and I haven't seen it yet, good, safe. Nisei does tend to write to be strictly technically correct as opposed to readily understandable. See also Anakam? Is Anakam that confusing? What's wrong with Anakam? The rewrites of Sundu and DBS immediately shudder into mind. DBS is a nightmare. No, sorry, not DBS. Sundu is admittedly a bit nightmarish. The first time each turn an event is trashed from any location, draw 1 card. I don't take any... what's wrong with this? This is perfect. That's a really good sentence. For those who don't know, Sundu was reworded in System Core 2019. The first time the runner spends at least... No, it's this. The first time the runner spends 1 or more clicks during their turn, gain 2 credit. If those clicks were spent to take an action, the first time during that action, a run on the surface begins. Like, obviously, that's so salad. I don't even know if that is correct in terms of English. He says clumsily in his English sentence, but rules. Play that Hashiko pretty shy. Hello, words. Joking, what's up? I think with Anakam, it's subtle that the play area counts. Yeah, it's like a subtlety that you have to understand that trashing, when you play a card in the rules, it's trashed after it's done, or at least events are, right? But yeah, that's technically subtle. I think you're right, maybe I didn't get that immediately. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. It is technically the 25th, so this is the final day before the meta actually shifts, or the new most wanted list shifts and comes into play. So we are still going to play a standard illegal deck. So we're just going to do ban lists. Is that what everyone's doing still? Yeah, it looks like it. So we're going to do the deck list of the week, and then go from there. They come up on Slack quite a lot. Sundu and DBS do? The funny thing is OG printing works fine in terms of getting across the fact. Oh yeah, it's perfect getting across the fact, but there's technically some rules that there's some issues. So I actually don't know what happened to this story specifically, but if I'm not mistaken, there's an issue in the game that was actually inherently like destroying the rules. Maybe that's a bit dramatic, but there was a rules issue that was based off of cards like Stim Hack, and if I'm not mistaken, cards like what's it called? Doppelganger? So Stimax says when the run ends, suffer brain damage after the run is completed. But Doppelganger in theory says when that run ends, do a different run. So the idea was, according to strictly following the rules, I think Jaco was fighting this. You could stim hack into a Doppelganger and then do another run and then never take the brain damage. But that was something that back at the time FFG wouldn't agree to. So that was apparently like an issue. I think they got into a fight about that, and then there wasn't like no rules postings for a while until they sorted that shit out. I don't know what happened to that, or if that's actually entirely true. Does anybody know about that? Jumons. Media Blitz Jumons? Unfortunately, yeah, we can't Media Blitz anymore. There's like 2 currents that I don't like that rotated. Opening hand, all 3 breakers liberated. Not the worst. We're playing against Sports Metal, which easily could be combo. It could be any sort of value sort of stuff. I'm like really yellow, ain't I? I feel like we can just mulligan. Like our turn is credit liberated. If we had a 0 in our opening hand, we'd be better. Yeah, that seems about right. Again, this deck doesn't have DDoS, so we actually have to get legitimate accesses. Or sorry, put down our breakers a lot of times. We don't have Eater as well. We actually have to get in. Let me goof with the lights a bit. What colors are we thinking? Okay, now I'm like pale. Whatever. That's alright. Here we go. Oh, the only advice for playing this deck is to remember we don't have DDoS, so when we want them to res ice and contest the board early. I like that. I feel like that's a good way to play. HB, early game. Jamming for remote, did they mulligan? They kept their hand? No, they mulligan, so we don't know what they have. If we access, they'll gain 2 credits or draw 2 cards. We kind of do want to access on the basis of Dirty Laundry. I think we can Dirty Laundry, install 0, and then go for the 2 and 3 chance of either hitting MK Ultra or I've Had Worse, which would be sick. We need to figure out what kind of deck this is. It's a red level clearance. That kind of means more combo-y, if I would guess. Like cards like Work Crew. I don't know if that gets played. Okay, so we have a 1 and 3 of this being worse than the other 2 options. Let it rip. Shit. Really? 1 and 3, whatever. Okay, we're good, we're good. Your face is DDoS. Woof. Kojima's a prophet. Have you all played Death Stranding? No, what does it have to do with anything? Install, advance, upgrade. We drew a Dirty Laundry. We have access to no breakers whatsoever, but we could definitely consider running server 1. If it's a Fairchild 3, we can click through it, and then we'll probably have Ash money. We also could Dirty Laundry first and then run this remote. I think we just run this remote. We also could just like Dirty Laundry HQ. Do we even Apocalypse this soon, Rob? I do wish the game had more common sense with the rules. Stim access cannot be prevented, so the intention is clear. There's no way around. You can't prevent the damage, but if the trigger doesn't fire, it doesn't fire. Run HQ first. Okay, regular run HQ. Yeah, if we Dirty Laundry HQ, they're more likely to res. So it looks like we are gonna Apocalypse here. Oh yeah, we have an Apocalypse. It's a Kali testing, so this does look like combo. The Kali testing is really good with red level clearance. All right. Well, let's rip a board up. America must be reconnected. We are fractured. Hey, Byron Work Crew. Speak of it. I honestly rather them draw that than ice. So we're just gonna wipe the board. They saw 1. Unfortunately, we hit the second one. All right. Also like to jump next, like into game. Draw 3. So we know if we run archives, they're very likely to get. Oh, we lost our 0. They're very likely to get 2 cards or 2 credits. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We've lost 2 Dirty Laundries, so if we run here, we flip. Great job. We flip, which costs us money and gets a card draw. I think we want to put the Liberated down and then just click up. Getting another 0 would be good. The turntable is pretty alright too if they're on Global Food Initiative. We'll see. When you fold, immediately just forget whatever hand you had. What's that in response to, Jeremy? Yeah, whatever. We'll do this. We can run archives, I guess. It looks like they're scoring an 4-2 or 3-2. Yeah, Vitruvius with a counter. And what did we hit? So there's 2 ice that we hit and an upgrade. So it was a Tranquility Home Grid. It's good to get that in early. And they have a Sandstone, which means they're definitely on Cyberdeck's Fire Suite. For 2 influence, that's wild. And they have a Gatekeeper, so they drew 2. So now we can just run R&D or run HQ. What might have been a better play is run R&D, run Archives. If they draw again, run R&D again. And we only have 1 more Apocalypse in our deck if we can't find Labor Rights. So we get a free draw. I might as well go for the Axis, I guess. Are you a fan of Slay the Spire? Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm a really big fan. I played 100 hours or so of that. Monster Train, by the way. That's pretty great. Oh, in response to the 0 hit, when you fold immediately, just forget what the hand you had. I see what you mean. All right, so install ice, install card and server 2, hedge fund. So this could either be the Byroid work crew, which would sound pretty reasonable. Then if they have an agenda in hand, we want to pressure that. They played 2 hedge funds, they're on 12 credits. The Byroid work crew is 4 to trash, so we'd have to hit up the Liberated first. We saw them drawn to a vanilla, which isn't a bad face check, but neither a bad res for them. Getting a Stargate down stat would be sick. I bet Cali testing the remote. I think we trashed one though. It's probably more likely to be the work crew because they have red level in hand, so they can clicklessly install something on the table. Right? Because they get clip back so they can score 3-2. I think we just need to pressure hand as much as possible. Let's go for it. I've had worse for Stargate. Yeah, I kind of like that too. Mega pre-qualifier. Okay, so exchange of information is going to get good. That's going to be 2 cards or 2 credits. It took 2 cards, so again, we could have ran R&D, HQ, R&D, but whatever. There's the RLC that we saw. We'll see the top of R&D, I guess. They have 6 cards in hand. So Rashida, I guess we'll trash that, take 4. Trashing that's weird, because then they get a new card. Dude, you went too far? What? So there's the RLC. I'm assuming that they're going to res the work crew, and they can easily score at a mega pre-qualifier and get up to 2 points. But then I guess at least we turntable. Problem is, as soon as we apocalypse, the turntable is not going to be good. I put new lights in this place, like some extra lights, and now I can't figure out how not to look like a really shiny weird boy. This looks strange. Red double clearance to gain the click back, draw 2 cards, so they could install a card with the work crew if this is the work crew. Mind you, this also could just be a Tranquility, which is a good card to set up because it doesn't fire the turn you put it down. But it is a Byroid work crew. Trash to immediately install a card paying all costs. Double advance. You look fine, it's all good, thank you. Hollywood stream. The mask and the music. We still have that mask. It's actually like really beat up because the cat got into it. So this is probably vanilla into something. So if they score a huge Vitruvius, that's bad. They could easily score a big food, which at least would be their whole turn. So I think we can I've Edwards for a Stargate here. Yeah, we got it. So we can do Stargate, R&D, run archives. The only thing we can't steal is Iqua. Vacheron, IP block, red level clearance. So they're gonna draw the IP block. So we're gonna just trash the IP block and steal the Vacheron. We're not that weak with Punitive if they are on Punitive, if we have an I've worse in hand, so we'll just run R&D. It's really important never, like, you don't always need to trash the agenda on R&D. I've seen too many people trash the agenda and then just run archives. It's like, you can just trash a piece of ice. 2 credits, 2 cards. So now we're gonna be on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was a hard count. We'll be on 6 points. We also have access to Stim Hack Paperclip to get through vanilla. No Andre? Oh no, why no archive and win? Wait, what? Oh no, I thought I was being clever. Are you kidding me? Since when is this on 5 from archives? Oh no, I was just talking about being smart. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, hey, we just drew Namakua, so like, seems pretty good that they don't have an IP block, y'all. Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't realize that. Whatever. Okay, we'll not give that. How does this not fire from archives? I must have known that by now. We'll get another one. Violet level. Okay, we can trash that for 1. Tranquility home grid. That's annoying. Or guard. What's on top? Violet level, which is trashable. We need to trash that. So sorry, chat. Vacheron only so broken. Yeah. The less things that they draw, the more time we have. We also, if we didn't dirty laundry or trash that, we wouldn't have access to card and we would flipped over, which seems okay. They're now going to draw into a Tranquility home grid, which we're fine with that. I guess we just play the cast. Either that or we run HQ. Running HQ is not that bad. I think we might rather run HQ. I don't know if we need the daily casts. We're going to need install breakers. Yeah, whatever. We'll install that. We could have gone for more aggressive access for sure. Run hand. Rob. There's a chat delay. I think running hand is the aggressive play for sure. Especially because they're going to biotic labor an agenda that was in hand. And now they're on game point. And they're going to be on game point. So now the turning wheel will win us the... Well, the text isn't active, but turning wheel will win us the game anyways, or turntable, if we hit an agenda, because then we just take this 3-pointer. So they're on 0, so it's unlikely they could win next turn, right? Is there another agenda in the bin? They'll only be at 6? I don't think so. Oh, we win. Okay, right? We win, right? We steal that, we take this instead. No, we don't win. But they'll be further from winning. I don't think you can turntable for Vacheron. You win? Yes? Wait, why? You should have left that on the deck? No, we did that last time and we goofed it. How do we win? 3, 4, 5, 6. Swap Vacherons? It's a Cyberdex Fire Suite. Wait, what does swapping Vacherons do? Nothing. No. No, it doesn't do anything. That's a good play. And now we just wait. Okay, Rob, we both get one. Don't swap Vacherons? Yeah, we don't swap Vacherons. If we swap Vacherons, it becomes... Well, it does nothing. This puts them back 1 point. So we know the top of the deck is a gatekeeper. So I think we're just going to run HQ. Unlikely to be another agenda in there. Was it on top of the deck? No, we want to put in archives just on the basis that we would be able to turntable it. Swap Vacheron should have counters. I think JNet is bugged. I don't... Shouldn't Vacheron get counters? Wait, really? Wait, what? When this agenda is in the runner score area with 1 or more, when this runner would be added to the runner score area from anywhere except... Oh, whoa! Oh, yeah, that's totally true. Wait, so maybe we shouldn't have swapped it? Uh-oh. That's not it. No. Okay, wait, this is a mess. Add counter, where are the agenda counters? Counter type, counter, agenda, end. That should work. Why didn't it? Counters, agenda. Well, let me click on it. Yeah. It's a biotic. Okay. Well, that did not work anyway the way I thought it would. We are on 3 points. This will be 6 points soon. We could have obviously not given ourselves a 0-point agenda. That would probably be better. This is a mess. It's still correct to swap. Is it? I don't know. Obviously, it's harder for them to win because now there's only 1 more Vacheron on their deck, so they have to get 2 out. So yeah, that's probably true. Maybe it just didn't show in the counter, but numbers doing it correctly under the hood. I doubt it. I think we'll just keep track that this has 3 counters on the next start. Add counters to your ID to keep track. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. No, whatever. I'll just do it here. Counter A4. Cool. Step correct to swap to stall them from winning. Yeah. Did we think we could win in 2 turns? Probably not. Especially now that we saw the biotic, it seems a lot better. Oh man, that was wild. Read text, yo. There's no agenda that fires off the turntable. This is the first one. We've had to read this text twice, but we only read the bottom the first time because that one said archives. No, actually the top said archives twice. I don't even have an excuse. Swapping 2 cards adds each of those cards to the other's location, so Project Vacheron's interruptibility will apply and will enter the runner score area with an agenda point value of 0. I don't know if I said hi, Kyle, and with 4 hosted agenda counters in addition to any other counters that might be hosting. Thanos says, I was just thinking that they could have used the Vitruvius counter to protect the agenda steal when you dumped it. They choose not to, though. They don't have a Vitruvius counter, unfortunately. They never got one. Yeah, that's a counter for the Mega Pre-Qualifier, which makes it a 2-pointer. So the big question is how cheaply can they score out agendas? I think the cheapest option now is Audacity. Trickle shipment from Tenon was up there, but that's not really the case. And they need to be able to deal with Stargate. They just drew into a Gatekeeper. If they install Credit it, it's gonna be rough. Gatekeeper is pretty hard for us to deal with. We're gonna need not only a Black Orchestra, like, yeah, the first turn it comes down is gonna be a problem. So at least if they res it, like, do we hit a Gatekeeper? I think we do Stargate a Gatekeeper, and then we drop Amakua and run through it. I think we do just hit it. We can also I've had worse for a Black Orchestra first. Oh, we have a Boomerang. Oh, that's actually really good. Oh, Wanton's also really good, but that's next turn. Yeah, we could still win right here. And now they still have to res it. Like, that's a best of both worlds. Oh, add counters. Thank you. Yeah, totally right. Oh, it's a vanilla. Okay. So 4 credits, I don't think they can score. We could, in theory, stim hack out a paperclip. Amakua still gets through this, but we'll just boomerang this. Okay, so they have something in hand if they want to have to keep the money. Violet level clearance, Rashida Hedge Fund. Violet level clearance is actually probably better for us because they play that last click and then we can wanton them. This is hard. We need money. Ditch Rashida, let them click up, then wanton? Oh wait, could they not afford that? Oh, they couldn't even afford... No, they could afford that. Yeah, I think we want to click them up and then wanton. I think that's going to happen regardless. Labor rights, what will that get us? Actually, like, labor writing is just for, like, dirty laundry, and also to trash up Black Orchestra is not bad. The other option is liberated accounts, which seems better. We'll still have 2 credits. But if they ice up HQ, like, we can just drop Amaku and go again. Also, if they fire Violet, we would have seen more cards, so letting them draw Violet didn't seem like the worst either. I don't think we need a second Stargate, but second Stargate can be interesting. It sees 1 more card. No, I'll take 4 because we might need to install a breaker. Double stim hack is not the worst. I don't know, labor rights doesn't seem the worst either. We're gonna get a free card draw, right? Oh no, we're not, because we didn't access. Oh, bummer. Whatever, that might not have been right. Thomas Bar, what's up? Hey man, sorry to bother, just wondering, is there any future plans for a new Doomtown video? That's a really good question. We just haven't had enough time to do everything that we wanted to do here. I was thinking of making another channel at some point to just be able to do that content and not like do too much in one place. Oh, they might be able to win? They drew 2, so they broke lock. I'll keep that in mind though. Thank you, Thomas. Hedge fund. Unknown card in the remote. Okay, we didn't draw. Labor rights was our way that we could threaten. The labor rights keep seem pretty good here. But labor rights was the way that we could actually threaten getting into our Black Orchestra. The only option here besides, like, they could easily win. This easily could be a Rashida or the agenda. I guess if it's an agenda, we don't care, right? I don't know if we wanton. Like, I think we can just win the game. But what do we know in hand? Now, wanton doesn't seem bad. But then they're just going to Rashida up. And then the Rashida after the wanton. Maybe that's awkward. I don't even know what you do. Remove counter. That's definitely the right thing to do. Okay, we're now on 6 points. We need to get 1 agenda. Like, the other option is just do Amakua, run R&D, and then run HQ to build Amakua counters. They have 9 credits, though. Yeah, so I think we need a wanton. I think that's the biggest deal. We're not going to get an access, unfortunately. Stargate for now? It's always a bit too late. I don't know. I feel like that they can easily draw into Biotic with this Rashida and their agenda, that doing some sort of destruction to the hand seems good. But that we could still lose right here. I guess I need to remember that they're on 4 points. We only have to survive another turn. Is anyone participating in the Continental Tournament? Yo, Shang, what's up? I don't know if I am to play. People in my meta are definitely talking about it. I kind of want to contact Nisei and see if I can do more casting stuff. I'd rather do that than play if possible. I've been in no contact with them. But there's actually a lot of news to go through, which we'll go through after this decklist of the week. Still 2 more turns, you win. So Wanton seems good. Yeah, I think that's the right thing, right? Space Kitten, yes, please. In terms of what? Continentals? Now jogging being the aggressive coach from the side? Yo, jogging is like aggro? I guess Rob's aggro too, but Rob is like, I don't know, it's their deck at least, it's his deck. I do appreciate the jogging. Contact me, we can talk about the stream. Oh, super cool, Ken, that's awesome. Okay, I'll definitely message you. We'll get to the news in a beat, basically after this game, regardless how it goes. Obviously, they just drew 3 with Rashida and got 3 credits. So 12 credits means they should probably be able to combo out anything. The big question is whether they can score 2 agendas or a 5-3 in the same turn. And I think it's possible. It's easier actually with red level clearance and like dedication Rococo. I think it might be a bit harder, but like Byroad War Crew and Biotic Labor and red level clearance can do some nutty stuff. It might be possible. I'm assuming it'll cost them at least 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 credits, ballpark, because they probably have to double Biotic and still score a 5-pointer. So that's like 13 minimum. First one has 0, second one has 2. I agree, wanted them first, but it's much lower value with Rashid in their mode. The face down cards tracking the second Vacheron counters. Yes. Do the Vacherons have counters on them? Hard to tell. Yeah, this one is empty. This one has 2 counters on it, which is represented by this. So this actually could be like a Vacheron in here that they're going to Biotic Labor out to score. And we're 1 turn short of winning, if that's the case. Counter A1. So like we're still at 6 points. And this is the final Vacheron. I just want to let's add counters on there. For science, remove counter? Yeah, totally. If game ends before Vacheron will count down, you should ask opponent to end turn a couple times to see if it's counting in background. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe. Okay, question is, can we contest the remote? The remote almost definitely has a gatekeeper on it. Now, if they res the gatekeeper, they draw cards, they'll be at 6 credits. 6 is enough. It's not enough to do Biotic 5 advance. So forcing them to res is probably the right thing no matter what we do here. I think we just stim hack the remote. I think we just stim hack the remote and force them to res stuff. Again, I think if they hit a gatekeeper, it's not the biggest deal unless there's agendas in here, but then they'll go back into R&D. If we stim hack the remote, they'll be on 6 credits. They could get a free credit thinking. I think they could get it. So what do they need? They need Biotic 4 advance. That's 8. So if they spend 1 credit, they can't do it. This gives them a clickless credit. That won't be enough. I'm just going to stim hack the remote. I don't care. The gatekeeper is probably on the outside. If it fires, I think we're fine. Uh-oh, my plan no. Turtle power? Well, they have an IP block, so I don't want to put the turtle down. We saw IP blocks in their deck at least. We don't know if they're on the table. But if this is not a barrier on the outside, like we saw them playing Sandstone, we can always put out the paperclip and then get through the vanilla. Like if this fails, we just Amakua run this. I guess in theory we could lose this. Yeah, right? Like that's sweet. So do we trace this? I think we just trace it, or we can install the paperclip and keep going. I think we're just gonna install the paperclip. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can no longer advance it out. We also could have traced it here, would be fine. But I don't think we're gonna get much further. They're gonna res a gatekeeper and it's gonna end the run. Turgle Stargate stim remote if needed, for sure install. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it the backwards way. We only have to like not lose this turn and we'll be fine. Oh! Yeah, Amaku would have been a bit worse. We're on 6, they're on 5 credits. Again, gatekeeper easily could be here. They res it though, they dip down to 2. Oh my lord! No, it's another Vacheron! Okay, well now they can't win. Swap Vacheron? Yeah, okay. I guess we win anyways. Hey, good game. And we're only still on 7 points. That's a lot of agendas for 7 points, eh? So this thing here is only worth 1 point when it returns to the runner score area because agenda text is only active in the corpse score area. So we're actually only on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 0 and this is 1. Seems all right. I was expecting the gatekeeper on the remote. We didn't trash the gatekeeper, did we? I don't think we did. I just want to force you the res. Did you have Biotic? Did you have Biotic in hand to score the Vacheron next turn? Because that was the thing that we were playing around, and I love that play a lot of times, is to install advance 5-3 and then next turn Biotic 4 out, because it looks like it's just another 4-2 or whatever, right? We'll never know. I need closure in the Vacheron situation? Yeah. Oh, they do have Audacity! Ooh, just as good. So they have Audacity, which is in this deck admittedly a bit awkward if you don't have Rashid on the table, if you want to use it like not to win the game, because you can throw out all your other combo pieces. Gatekeeper died on Wanton. Ooh. Hey, for testing's sake, do you mind if I end my turn, you yours? to see if the Vacheron is working good in the backend. Maybe the tokens just aren't there. Yeah, we'll do some research. We'll just do credit. Okay, we'll see. Oh, you shaved Rash. What's up? Yeah. All right, if this jumps up to 10. No dice. No dice. Thanks, anyway. Good to see. Well, poke Noah, I reckon. Thanks for the game, eh? All right, awesome. Okay, so that didn't work. So apparently some sort of turntable isn't working with Vacheron, which is like, I'm not ever going to say that the JNet team is not doing a good job, because obviously they're kicking ass. But in terms of like a bug, like if that bug happens consistently, I think so many people are going to forget the text on Vacheron, because I would not have noticed. And if chat didn't correct that, or actually our opponent corrected it too, which is good. Cool. Anyone filed a bug on GitHub yet? No, chat, if someone does that, it's great. Otherwise, I don't know if it's the right protocol. I've done that before. That's actually like a cool thing, and I don't do a good enough job with that, is when we find problems on this channel, is that we have video evidence of them, and then I just say like, hey, Noah, this was this issue, check the timestamp, and they can kind of see what that's about, which is good. Turntable needs a special "Are you sure?" prompt for Vacheron. There are a couple cards that ask, "Are you sure?" right? I want to jump in if that's okay. That's totally okay. Is it all right if we just jump into... Wait, are you playing a runner or corp? But first, I just want to go through the news because I forgot to mention this off the top. So firstly, if you're tuning in, how's it going? My name is Andre. This is Metro Grid. Made a bunch of promises earlier this weekend. I didn't end up having a day off this week, so we're pretty far behind on that stuff. We'll get to it hopefully soon. But there's a whole bunch of news. Firstly, that's what Noah does when I tell him about bugs. Nice, okay. Firstly, Nisei is running a Black Lives Matter tournament. It is this weekend on the 27th. They're raising money for the Bail Project, which I don't know if I can intelligently say what the Bail Project is. They're basically raising money to help fight bail and the systemic inequality that bail puts on certain communities, from my understanding. Critical to prevent incarceration and combat racial and economic disparities in the bail system. Okay, they did it way more elegant than I. Nisei is raising money. If you want to register, if you want to donate, you can do that separately from registration. Like all Nisei tournaments, well, you can get in on their Discord server. They will be streaming it on their Twitch channel, so check that out. Again, this is this weekend on the 27th. Registration starts at 13, so 1 o'clock UTC, whatever time zone that is. I'm not actually sure. You can get in contact with them. This is the coolest thing. Nisei is going to match every donation they get up to a 4K cap. That's American dollars. That's a lot of money. So do check that out if you can on Saturday. To quote game designer Mike Pondsmith, Cyberpunk was a warming, not an aspiration. I think Mike Pondsmith this month was published an article, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on this, but I think Mike Pondsmith recently published some writing about the inequalities that he's experienced. So check that out too if you want to check out Mike Pondsmith. Oh yeah, Cyberpunk also did a thing today. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. Awesome. Hey, thanks for the game, Anderson. Thanks for the game as well. Don't forget to floss your teeth piece. What? Do you have ink? I don't have a link to that. Can we just find it? Article. I don't know. Maybe we'll find it. I'll look into it. I'll look into it. I know people were mentioning it. There's a lot of discussions about, what's going on in a lot of things recently, and I know Mike Pondsmith came up. Pondsmith, is that right? Yeah, perfect. Anyways, so that's awesome. Again, that's this Saturday. Do check that out if you can. That starts at like 9 in the morning, 9 a.m. EST. That's 6 a.m. PST. Yeah, Vincent, unfortunately it is. I don't know when, that's when registration starts. I don't know when the actual thing starts. There's definitely more information within here. Nisei also had a really, really big news week this week. They dumped a bunch of articles basically all at the same time. It's a bit difficult to follow, but I know that Nisei's been in Reddit, and they specifically said that they're working on a new website where there's a forum. They'll be better at you know, getting this stuff across. Long of the short is, Nisei said they'd be talking a while about the products that would come out this year. They've been really good at saying we'll be talking about it soon, and then talked about it soon. So this year we expected, I think, 2.5 products from Nisei, or at least they said they would. Firstly, we're with the System Core 2019, which is the collection of original Fantasy Flight game cards. That is like the basic of the standard set. It's legal and it can change every year. We expected there to be a System Core 20 and then a System Core 21, and every year it'll change a bit of basically what is it's like the backbone of the whole thing. It has like hedge fund in it and Sure Gamble and Daily Cast and stuff like that. Anyways, so I don't know if Nisei said there'd be a System Core 2020, but there's not. That sounds like a horribly negative way to start this article. That's not the case. So 2 things they talked about. Firstly, System Gateway. It has its own article. System Gateway is like such an important thing. So what System Gateway is, and I'm going to probably say some facts about it incorrectly, which is great for a news section. It's basically starter decks. They're going to be starter decks that it's basically an entry product to get people into the game. The idea is that you can go to that print and play PDF. You can get this printed at Make Playing Cards or drive through or whatever, and you basically have some sets I imagine per faction. It's a fair few cards. I think they said last I read about this that they're almost entirely new cards, barring a couple reprints, and it's meant to be like a really easy way to get into the game. Kittens in chat, they're gonna correct us if when we goof this up. So that's really good. There's a huge issue right now with Netrunner where recommending what a new player should get into is pretty difficult, because it's hard to find cards. And in terms of like Nisei stuff, like do you want to cycle? Do you want magnum opus cards? Like those are obviously good cards, but like ensuring that you'll have enough cards to even build a deck by just building the Ashes cycle, no, you just can't. I don't think you can. So basically encouraging them to, or having something to say like, this is a starter set of cards, grab this, try the game out. It's going to give you a breadth of what the game is. You're going to get to try a bunch of different experiences. You can do some basic deck building. Also, like for people not in that situation, it's a bunch of new cards that I imagine will be standard legal at some point. That's really, really, really important. On top of that, there's a deck building pack. This is actually really close to, we talked about Doomtown earlier. Doomtown recently did this too. Oh man, where they had starter decks. They have a bunch of decks for every faction. You can buy the PDFs, you can get them printed, and on top of that, they have extra cards in a flex pack that you can choose to buy additionally that give you some extra options, like a sideboard to help you make the deck slightly different or combat certain things. It's great. And System Gateway is the deck building pack is the same sort of idea. Here are additional cards. If you really like that first part, you want a bit more. You want to come into the game, you want to try more deck building as opposed to these pre-constructed decks and the starter decks. Good stuff. It's another step in if you want to go a bit deeper, and that's really, really, really great. Kenan saying if you want to get more, you have the system update, all cards will be standard illegal. I really like this system, and I need to emphasize 2 things. Firstly, new players are the blood of this game. It's so important new players are getting into this game, and this is a horrible sentence, but luckily because of the situation right now where people have to spend a lot of time indoors, I've seen a lot more people getting involved in this game, trying it out, picking it up again. Like there's a lot of reasons why that's a cool thing to do right now, and you need that to keep happening for this game to maintain good health. It's the utmost priority, really it is. So having a really easy way, a really good product to get that in is sweet. Dicebreaker is a website. It's in the Rock Paper Shotgun family, and they did an article on Nisei talking about this. Fan-made project is getting a starter set. Like that's huge. This will get pressed. People will talk about this. This will be distributed. People will get into the game, which is really good. The idea to be like, oh, I've heard about Netrunner since 2012. I've not got into it. I can print a PDF. Yeah, I'm in. That's so important. Another thing that I think is really important, and it comes with the timing, and we're in some ways lucky that timing on both sides got goofed really hard. It's worth saying that this stuff has been announced, that the next thing I'm going to talk about and this thing are coming in December of this year. So in terms of timing, that means it'll be happening after Worlds. I'm assuming, actually we don't know when Digital Worlds is, right? Is Digital Worlds still going to be in October? But in terms of like getting a massive dump of cards before Worlds to shake up the meta, it looks like that's not the case. What that means is for the meta to be diverse, we're going to need like more most wanted list updates, I reckon. Maybe Nisei will do the same thing where they like they did for last Worlds, where like here's a couple cards from the new sets as opposed to like the whole product. That stuff I think landed well with a lot of people. That might be the case. So I don't think there's going to be a big dump of cards before Worlds this year, which Obviously kind of a bummer, but Nice has been doing a good job considering the circumstances. They're obviously like things got really hard this year to make stuff. The second thing, and like this is a wild thing, Cyberpunk 2077 is now coming out in November, the end of November. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be an immensely popular title, and Netrunner is in it. Let alone that people just Google the word Netrunner on accident because they heard it from the game. People are going to be talking about this game more. There's going to be so many people getting into Cyberpunk stuff and eventually finding out about Netrunner, and some portion of those millions of people are going to be trying Netrunner, and that's really important. The fact that there is a product that's going to exist at that time, basically like 2 weeks after Cyberpunk 2077 comes out, is going to be really good. That people who want to try to have a thing to try. Like that timing beat is probably going to be the biggest media buzz, the like kind of push in SEO or whatever that Netrunner is going to get in a long time since like the FFG cancellation. So The Expanse season 5 is also coming out in December. I don't know enough about The Expanse. I don't even know really what it is besides a television show. But I think that's a really big deal that lines up well. That game has been delayed a lot, and at least the timing right now lines up really good. I haven't even considered the timing as related to 2077. It's gonna be a really big deal. Like Netrunner is in the game, and it's definitely gonna come up. So that's that in terms of the gateway stuff. Again, top of December, so it's a while away, but it's cool. It's also worth noting, I guess that's more the other part. Now, the other part of this is the system update 2021, which is basically like this new system core, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to be 70 unique cards. They're all from existing sets. So basically, the backbone of the standard set will change in December. So again, after Worlds. This means largely that there's not going to be a system core 2020, which, whatever, it's fine. We're mostly through the year anyways, and it's been good. But that's going to be coming out in the near future. Whether that means there's not going to be a system core every year, whether it's going to be every 2 years, something like that, I don't know. It's a very important thing, though, worth noting, and this is something that Nisei considered doing or tried to do. I don't know what actually it is, but they were going to print the system core with Nisei card templating and symbology and Nisei art. That doesn't exist, right? Thanos, I'll get back 1 second. I don't think that exists. They're saying that's going to happen now, and obviously they have a lot of time to get all that stuff together. But the idea is that if you are a player and you want to get a system core, you can now print it because Nisei did not print the system core 2019. I'm not wrong about this, right? So that's great. So there'll be a system core that you can get if you're new to this and you can't find Fantasy Flight game cards, which is really hard to do right now because the system core comes from all different data packs and all that wildness. So having something you can print, I guess you could always print it on Proxy Nexus, I suppose, the modern one, but like that seems really great. Sorry, to be more clear, how are they mentioning Netrunner with Cyberpunk? So it's a long story, but basically Cyberpunk 2020 invented the term Netrunner as a hacker, and that was an RPG. Talassen Games, that's a Mike Pondsmith thing, and then Fantasy Flight Games basically borrowed that and made Netrunner. Not Fantasy Flight Games, that's totally wrong. Sorry, Wizards of the Coast, Richard Garfield used that as a backbone and built the Netrunner CCG back in the 90s. Then obviously that was rebooted by Fantasy Flight Games in 2012. The same name of Netrunner comes up, the same systems as Richard Garfield came up, and we have the modern game that's still continuing today. If you notice, like FFG's Netrunner cards, they still thank Talassen Games. Is that what it's called? Talassen? I might be wrong about that. But basically, Netrunner, the idea of what a Netrunner is, comes from the cyberpunk world and Mike Pondsmith's RPG from the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, in this class, one of the classes, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, I think they revealed some stuff about the class structure, but one of the classes maybe it doesn't have a class structure anymore. You can be a Netrunner in Cyberpunk 2077. The word Netrunner, the idea of what Netrunners are going to be coming up a lot in Cyberpunk 2077. Not as like a card game, but a Netrunner as physically, I run nets in whatever the city in Cyberpunk is. Talsorian, thanks, Cavis. Yeah, totally. Talassen is somebody in the community, excuse me. There is Netrunner in Cyberpunk. Yes, net running. Awesome. They also showed, it was a really long time ago, but they showed what their hacking looks like. This was like when they showed off Cyberpunk many years ago in one of their demos. They showed like, I'm in the mainframe, stuff like that. R. Talsorian, thank you. Okay, I didn't know Netrunner term was a derived. However, I was wondering if it was an actual reference to an actual card game. No, it had nothing to do with a card game in Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was just an RPG. It was just like a thing that existed in the world. It is worth noting that, and this is an old thing, there's always these conspiracy theories about like Cyberpunk is going to get a card game at some point, and that's why they couldn't do the license renewal and stuff like that. It is worth saying that there is, at least this is a year old now, but one of the community people from CD Projekt Red came out and said they have no interest currently. They have no plans to make a card game. So in terms of like big Netrunner-esque reboot from whatever CD Projekt Red, which is worth talking about because they do Gwent, which is a card game. They have no plans. Hacking in Cyberpunk 2020 looks like the card art from ONR with polygon images because higher def required more processing power than Netrunners didn't want to expend. Is that actually part of the lore? Like they actually were like, we know this is not good art because that's cool. I didn't know that. Night City, thank you. You can seek out the free AIs beyond the wall. The Netrunner class looks like it's going to be just hacking cameras and stuff, but hopefully it'll be more than that. I read that, what was it? I read through some articles on lunch today because a lot of people put out their previews. They were allowed to play like 4 hours of the game. And about, like, if you want to know about that game, about the stats, they showed off some gameplay today as well. There's going to be an anime coming out in 2022. So again, like, just the interest that globally is going to exist about cyberpunk things, and the word Netrunner is going to spike hella hard Q4 this year, or Q3, I think technically it is. I don't know how Qs work. Reference the show I mentioned was titled Billions. Thought it was going to be like when Netrunner's featured on TV show. Oh yeah, Billions. Actually, there's a fair few people that if you're in the Billions, if you haven't seen the clip, check it out. I think the last time I saw the clip, if you, I don't want to watch it. I don't know if we can watch it because of copyright. I don't know how it works. Check out this clip. It's I forget the name of this comedian playing against another pretty well-known actor. Actor, I don't, gender neutral term, but it's wild. They actually consulted with Dan D'Argenio, multiple world champion winner of Netrunner, to like make sure they got this accurate. There's a bunch of people from the community in the background, and it's like a classy tournament. Like there's a guest list. They're drinking wine. It's super suave and Bond-esque sexy. The cool thing is like they're playing properly, and they're actually saying like, I'll pay 4 credits to Residonis campaign, and it's good. It's also like a fun scene anyways. But if you want to check out, yeah, Ben Terrell, that's Ben from Dodge Pong, uploaded it too. It's pretty wild. Thespian. I think Thespian implies stage. I don't know. Matrix 4 next year too? Oh, get out. Because higher def... Excuse me, I read that. That's what I was hoping to happen. Cyberpunk 27. Too hopeful. Can we get Worlds 2021 to be as swank as the Billions clip? That's the hope. And I'm pretty sure Worlds 2019 looked that classy. Like the venue, at least, that I saw from the images looked like that. Okay, let's just finish up the news. So system update, 70 cards, existing cards. That's the new name for System Core, end of the year. System Gateway, the most important product Nisei is probably going to make in a long time, end of the year. And then finally, 2 more things. Nisei format. So Nisei is announcing a new format called the System format? What's this format called? What's it called? System Gateway? I don't know what this format's called. Yo, someone help me out. Kim, you still there? Whatever, it's a new format, and it's replacing core experience, and it's going to include System Gateway, which is the starter decks, the most recent system update, which will be like the System Core, and the most recent Nisei set, like Ashes, which is both Downfall and Uprising. Core experience? I think core experience is what they're ending. Anyways, it's a new format with a limited card pool, which is probably pretty accessible for newer players. I haven't ever really dipped my toes too much into other formats, for better or worse. I think largely worse, but that's definitely cool. Name undecided. Oh, unnamed. Okay, that would make so much sense. That makes sense. Thank you. I use Caviar cans as click trackers. I'm going to turn candles on and off for my click trackers. Finally, Continental Championships. This is happening this year. This is really exciting. So largely there are 3 continental champions: Asia Pacific, European, American, and now if I'm not mistaken, you don't have to be region locked into any of these areas to be able to play in the tournament. The only other rule though is you can only enter in 1 tournament. There is legit good prize support, like all the prize support that they had that they're expecting for formal events, like physical in-person events, exist, and you can get in on that. This Anansi is really good. This Enigma, I think we've seen this one before. That's great. Hedge fund, always want more of those. And it looks like a full art sort of full art Earth Station. I think some of these are foil too. Ooh, and the tier mat, yeah, tier. That's Liga. That is Liga, right? It definitely has to be Liga. Pretty confident that's Liga. Good stuff. I should say here, right? Yeah, Liga. Smilskalna. That's my best guess. You can enter any of these. I think there's an entrance fee because there is a prize support, a top 8 players for each event. We're also going to be invited to the first ever Intercontinental Championship. That's buck wild. This, I think, is going to be one of those weird things like at Worlds where there's like a decision of like, do you want to play on day A or day B or day 1 or day B? And some people like, I'm gonna play the second day, and so they can do some scouting where they think all the really like edge gains kind of, I was gonna say edgelord, the sort of like people pushing for their advantages will go earlier, or so they can get rest before the second day. I don't know, obviously it's not exactly like that, but there maybe it's like, oh, all the comrades from North America are gonna like blitz Asia Pacific because they think it's gonna have fewer entrants. That sort of like meta game of which one do you enter might immediately come down to what times make more sense to you, because the time zones are gonna be nonsense for some players. But I'm really interested to see how this goes, whether it just ends up with all the Americans go to Europe and all the Europeans go to America just because they're scared of each other or whatever. It's $15 American dollars, I reckon, which is like 20 Canadian dollars, give or take. Anyways, good stuff. They're gonna be streaming all this stuff. Pretty exciting. Some of this is really soon, like that's 2-3 weeks away. It's gonna be the new meta. This is going to be the big new tournament. Oh, it's totally worth saying for the Black Lives Matter tournament. This is technically a new meta. This is going to be with the ban 2006. So that's also going to be exciting just to see what happens with that. All right, that's all the news. Big news week. There's also like a lot of news that's ought to be reported just from like our Netrunner, because whenever Nisei posts an article or any sort of content, generally people are commenting and asking questions, and people from Nisei are very good at answering those questions. So for instance, somebody gave some criticism about how this website's a bit hard to parse, just in terms of like the way I agree with that, and I think Nisei's totally aware of that, and they said like they're working to get a new website that should be up obviously in the future, and like it's good. There's a lot of stuff you can glean if you just, you know, keep your nose. I'm scared of anyone. Oh boy. Anyways, that's the news. Some good stuff. Again, tournament Saturday, get involved. New format, new cards, championships, and also it's worth saying if you didn't see it, Kitten did confirm. I don't know if it's already been confirmed, but Worlds will be at the same time, even if it's digital. Doomtown, still a good game. You can go pick up the starter decks if you want. Drive-through cards is really expensive shipping to America. All right, or to Canada, excuse me. Okay. My shadow scared me the other day. It was right behind me. Sometimes it's in front of you. Sometimes. Let's build a deck. So, I want to build a casting call deck. One of the big changes, and again, I made the video, I swear, about the new thing. It's 2 hours long. I made it sound like I didn't there. Hold on, I have 2 Chromes open. I want this one. But one of the biggest changes I think to the ban list 2006 is the removal of Film Critic. And it's totally valid point that like Film Critic wasn't in every deck, but polarizing matchups, the idea that you could show up in your deck not be very good because people are playing Film Critic probably just made people play it less often. On top of that, Obokata not being restricted, that's I guess another boon of sorts. But I think the biggest deal is now if you're playing a deck that is weak to Film Critic, you don't have to play other tech cards that dealt with Film Critic. Like you don't have to do MC Austerity, or you don't in theory have to do like, oh okay, this is my backup Miraju, or my backup Voter Intimidation, you know? FC wasn't in every deck, but was always in my head. Exactly. Fabric Time? Oh man, I totally forgot Lakshmi is really good now too. I really do like Lakshmi. I think Lakshmi is a sick card. It's also like really weak to Imp, unfortunately. So I want to just play a Casting Call deck. I'm convinced Casting Call has and always has been a good card until at some point. It's bad if people are playing Tag Tech. I feel like they should be playing Tag Tech just because tags seem pretty relevant right now. But I think I remember playing Casting Call when it came out because it came out in this exact same, like there's this issue when it comes to like just the timing of this. Like this card came out in Old Hollywood. Film Critic came out in Old Hollywood. So in the same pack, did you have in theory like a really cool card that makes it a very hard steal in an agenda, and also the card that says, yeah, that's blank, I don't care. This card's also 0 cost, 2 influence. Like everything about it is pretty good, which is great. But unfortunately, again, the same pack, and it was the same thing. Like there's so many things in this pack that gave a hoot about Film Critic, right? Like Harpsichord, absolutely hosed by Film Critic. That deck got better. Award Bait, Explode Palooza, Old Hollywood Grid. Like this pack was so destroyed by the Film Critic that came in on its own horse. Death to Film Critic? Yeah. YouTube actually just blocked that comment that you can't write death to something, but it asked me if that was okay. Speaking of Lakshmi, Andre, rate the Jank Econ. You play Lakshmi and Hyobu and keep showing the runner a Project Kusanagi from hand for 0 power counters for 1 ID trigger, 1 credit on the player's turn. Got him. That's brilliant. Hold on. We're not going to build that deck? Can you actually do that? So Lakshmi says whenever you res a card, okay, reveal an agenda worth X points from HQ using X hosted power counters that could be 0. The runner cannot steal copies of the agenda for the remainder of this turn. All right. And there's 0 cost agendas. We'll take that as a given. There's 0 cost, 0 score agenda, 0 point agendas, okay? Wait, is it the score? Or yeah, it's the score, right? Yeah, X points. So if you played Hyobu Institute Absolute Clarity, it says the first time each turn you reveal a card, gain a credit. Nobody contested the ruling or the interaction? I know the ruling I think is absolutely ironclad. I just didn't consider it, and I wanted to show chat what this was, because this is not a common card by any stretch. So yeah, you could build, obviously like this is silly, but yeah, you could build something that gives you a credit a turn and just kind of shows that you have a 0 point agenda in hand. Polana. That's fun though, I like that a lot. Why would they get a free win? Oh, Hyobu hate. I don't know, it's gonna be hard to make Hyobu good. I think Hyobu will be interesting once Polana rotates, but again, yeah, this ability just doesn't fire a lot, does it? Especially now that the Grail Eye's left. Casting Call seems like it would be a lockdown if it's printed in the Nisei area. Yeah, and they largely did. They printed a lockdown that's similar than that. It's a tag or 4 credits. That's pretty similar. It's also worth noting that the lockdowns got so much better. And it's not all the lockdowns. I was almost going to write Gordon because I just keep saying Gordon now because it's more fun. But NAPD Gordon seems really good. Right? Like the idea that you can do install advance and then, well, okay, install advance isn't amazing. Yeah, install advance is good. 6 credits to steal an agenda. Like Gordon is good in any deck that doesn't run only 5/3s, and its ability is almost always relevant. The 2 trash costs on this thing is obviously the bummer. Mushin Gordon's sick. You can do 5/3 Gordon if you have La Costa. I'm chilling, it's Thursday. I wish Hyobu was better. I love it conceptually. Yeah. No, I feel it. I hear you. This is a really, like, okay, the credit thing is cool. Reveal a card from the grip at the top of the stack. As soon as the top of the stack becomes relevant outside of like whatever that the TV one, Caligota TV, is that what it's called? Yeah, Real TV. If it matters for any other card, like that could be important, right? I think Hyobu could be good if you can reliably trigger it on both turns. So maybe they'll print a card that makes it possible. Yeah, it's just short 1 or 2 cards, right? Like imagine they just reprint Kakugo and Kakugo says for that ability you have to reveal something from hand. Like you just need something like that. I don't know why it had to be Kakugo. It didn't have to be. If it were whenever the Grey Lights were still around, I think it could have done something. Yeah, but the thing is, like, you think that's wild, right? Like the idea of like, oh, if this filed on every Grey Lights, it would be absolutely nutty. But it isn't, and it like that's not different from what's it called, from GameNet. Like GameNet's ability is just so much better. That being said, like I think overall Uprising is just a much more strong set than Downfall, and like it's not like we've never seen that before. The first set from a designer is usually a bit more conservative before they, you know, get entirely comfortable and confident and stuff. Flower Sermon reveals, right? Yeah, I guess those technically work, huh? There's also like that asset. It's so hard to get assets to work. That's a weird sentence. But like there's the Hyobu, no, it was a medical. There's an asset that lets you reveal cards and gain credits for them. I don't know what it's called. It was in one of the Nisei cycles. Hyobu means you can play Jinteki cards though. It does. And you can play a Celebrity Gift. This card's good. This card's good too. The fact that this gives you 4 extra credits, it's fine. So whenever then Lakshmi plus Kusanagi combo is literally infinite money. Oh wow, yeah, you're totally right. Oh my god, yeah. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Yeah, you are. There's probably would be other combos too. No, outside of Ad Blitz. Also, Yobu fires off a Celebrity Gift such as well. That whenever might be better than GameNet. Probably not. I think they're both quite bad. Yeah, I think people are gonna play GameNet. I don't think GameNet's as good as obviously as Mari. Even like, I think if Mari was a 45 minimum card deck, even with 15 influence, I think it would be a better Glacier deck than GameNet. I think GameNet's the best we have though. Medical something, yeah, right? So it's called Uprising. It does have stronger cards. We'd expect the downfall to be better. That was a weird thing I was thinking about, right? Like, admittedly, there is a couple cycles and one designer. Okay, we won't be too negative. There's a thing about balance, right? Like, there's this weird thing going on. There are a couple identities that Argus casting call. Yeah, jogging. I think that's what we're doing. There are a couple identities. If I'm not mistaken, every single identity that came out in the cycle, the Flashpoint cycle, that's what it's called, right? Has 12 influence. And that, like, it's so weird because like that was something that was done as a narrative thing. If you're not familiar with the story, the Flashpoint was meant to be this like economic crisis. It was basically not only a market crash, but from my understanding, actually like a crash to the value of the credit, like a debt wipe of some sort. I don't know. The closest thing to it is if you watched, I guess. Oh man, this is a spoiler, but at least the show's pretty old. Like Mr. Robot season 1 type stuff. Public Health Portal. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you. So the idea is like thematically, in terms of story, obviously the person who designed this wanted to put them all at 12 influence. And 12 influence is bad, right? Like 12 influence is obviously worse than 15 or 17 influence. But at the end of the day, there was this idea that they were trying to get both like mechanics across, but they were also trying to get story across. And like that's kind of an issue when it comes to like Khan is one of the casualties to it. To some extent, Omar is. Who's the 12 influence shaper? Is there even one? No, I don't even think there is one. Besides Kit, but that's not what I'm talking about. Is that like all of these abilities, like they're so unequal, and like one of the balancing mechanisms you have for balancing identity is how much influence you give it. And the fact that they basically threw that balancing mechanism out the window in terms of ensuring that this like narrative beat would come across did not do a lot for that ability. Like sure, like there's a couple ways to balance the ability. Smaller deck size, yeah, they did it here because Khan seems like they could use it. More or less influence, they're saying we're not changing that, and then you have to make the ability better or worse. Obviously, like Khan isn't a competitive ability, and I couldn't even think of something they could print to make that so without it being like absurdly broken in every other criminal. But it's just it's a bummer. They're all on 12 influence, and that's just for a story thing, and that's holding them back. Is it smoke? Okay, hold on. Can we search? How do you do this? Everybody else knows this way better than I do that. Yeah, you can't do set Flashpoint, right? How do you search by cycle? Sort by identity? Wait, no, you can do this. You do subtype. No, I'll figure this out. I'll do it my slow way. I'll do it A/B. It's not A/B testing. What I think A/B is, I'll do this, and then I'll go into sets, and then we'll go down here. By now, someone's explained it in chat, at least I would imagine. And then I do this. It would do full cards, right? I think they all have 12. Architects tomorrow 12, that's fine. Jintegi 12, NBN 12, Wayland 40, 12. Again, they probably thought this is terrible given this deck size. Omar 45, 12. Oh, Null is in there, yeah, but apparently I don't know what the narrative on Null is. Null is chilling. 40, 12, 40, 15. So they didn't even commit to it. They didn't even commit to it. I think the biggest reason Mike was saying at least give them Link to balance it out, and I think the biggest reason that I've been thinking about this, and this is like a big part of the conversation that ended up in the 2-hour video about losing the restricted list for Netrunner, is that there are any tool that you can have to balance a card you need to take. And like it's so if you don't know what the big boy, I don't know the link for this, the big boy Netrunner thing. So the big boy is running their own format. Does anybody know what it is? It's I find parts of this to be fascinating, but basically they're running their own format on their own separate entity, which is Jinteki.net, that runs these cards, and it's all the cards from the original part of the game, but they'll balance the cards to make them competitively viable, or at least feel better to put in your deck. We've talked about this before, but like in the last week or so, they've added every other pack. I think up to they don't have Katara, up to Red Sand. They also don't have Terminal Directive. I think this is a fascinating thing. Like, I'm so excited, not so much to play this because I don't know. I guess I'm fine with standard, and it'll confuse me to some extent until I get this meta down, and then it'll goof me when I try to go to the other meta. But like the thing that is so fascinating to this, and again, I don't know if this is balanced. I do trust the big boy in terms of like getting some balance down and other people they're doing testing with, but to see what they can do to balance a card to make it, you know, reasonable. The difference here, though, is like while Netrunner classically has only been doing things like putting cards on a restricted list or changing literally nothing or banning it, and in some rare cases doing functional errata, the big boy don't give a shit, and they will actually change numbers on the card. They won't really change functionality, but they'll change numbers. So the question is like, how do you make con reasonable? And the solution that this format says is the install cost reduction is 4. That's probably really good because the Falcons, the cast of Falcons cost like 4, 5, 6. So now Khan is doing what Khan is doing. Is that crazy? Am I interested to play Khan? Sure. But then you see some other things like what would it cost to make Paperclip reasonable? Make it cost 7, MK Ultra 4. And then some other wild things like we're going to make Null a 40 card deck. These are minimal ones, but it's wild to see what a small change to a card, how big of a difference it can make for its playability when you can just change one number. You see this all the time in other like digital card games. I think Hearthstone does this a fair bit modernly, but like it's so hard to do this in a printed card game because you can't make these changes. But obviously TBB doesn't have that issue. The idea that we can like make Fumiko Yamamori a card so confusingly costed, make this cost 1, means that people will play it. But there's no change that I think Nisei or FFG or anyone could have done to make this card good outside of, like, I honestly don't know. I don't know. I do not agree with the big boys doing Nisei's the authority now, and doing what he's doing is challenging Nisei's theory, which is not productive. Steven, I totally see that, and I know there's some, I don't want to say animosity, but it seems like there's this division. I think at the end of the day, if they were doing this stuff privately and are just showing their work, like, I don't care, like, whatever. This is not, like, Nisei offers something totally wildly different than this. Like, Nisei does organized play, Nisei does new cards, Nisei does, like, so much more than what this is. I think this is definitely interesting in terms of balancing, but I understand why some people are defensive about it, to be like, why are you doing this? TBB also doesn't like talk about Nisei when they talk about their stuff. They don't, like, they present it as like, oh, this is, you know, and they don't say like another thing you can do is check out Nisei, which I don't think we'd expect them to, but I think we'd all be happy if more people found Nisei. I guess that's kind of the idea. There's nothing wrong with fun alt formats. Tons of people have done fun side things in the past in a few months. There's a ton of difference between going back and moving forward. Yeah, I agree with that. That's largely what I guess what I think. I don't know. I was like, it's really fun to look through this and just kind of see what changes were made to make cards that didn't seem good to be more palatable. And it's wild. Like Nero, 17 influence. I think anybody would be on board with that. That seems cool. But the problem is, like, obviously changes like this, they're not exactly functional changes, would make cards way more playable. Like Puppet Master, a card that we've actually found to be really, really, really fun in the Ocarina tournament. TBB is suggesting to make this put 3 advancement counters. Is that Jumon? Yeah, it's kind of Jumon. But who knows? It's cool too. Even like the nerfs, like corporate sales team just gives you 7 credits now. Maybe that's warranted, considering this card is probably better than most of the 4-2s in the game regardless. Anywho, that's cool. It's neat. I don't know why we tangented down that. Basically it came down to balance. The fact that, like, yeah, 40-12. What did they do to make Consortium better? Actually, hold on. I swear we'll build a deck. We'll play Netrunner at some point. Flashpoint. Building a better world. 15 influence. It's probably fine. Wow, Builder Nations lost Kakugo. Oh, Builder Nations are getting better. I guess actually, like, admittedly, without a film critic, City Works Project is a hell of a card. There's certainly something lost, though, with balance changes on the cards directly. There's something exciting for me with old formats like MTG Legacy that cannot exist in games like Hearthstone or Runeterra when the cards themselves are changed. Yeah, I totally hear that. And, like, You can definitely still play those. I like those formats definitely do really still exist. Like people still play. Nisei supports those formats too without any changes on them. For what it's worth in Hearthstone, there are a bunch of cards that are like too good and they just put them into to the wild format. Like that's one of the balancing mechanisms that Hearthstone has. Hearthstone has like a standard card pool, and then they have some cards where they say like, okay, this is too good, and if we don't do something about this, they basically ban it. But when they ban the card, it enters the Hall of Fame, and I think all the Hall of Fame cards are just like every card is available in the wild format. Wild is basically every card that ever came out. So there's a lot of people that just play that format because it's like if they've been playing for a long time, they have more cards in that format, and that I don't know if the designers balance to it. They do make changes later, but I don't know when they print new cards they balance to it. Yeah, I don't know. I never played a lot of legacy formats. Like I'm not one to go back and play like. I think the only way that you'll find me playing old cards from Netrunner is like from a draft. I think. But that's just my preferences. Anyways, okay, let's build an Argus deck. Wee. Casting Call 3x. Only bad thing about Casting Call, you can't play with digital rights management. Unless you play digital rights management and then install an upgrade and then Casting Call at the agenda. Because if I'm not mistaken, Casting Call installs the card as its cost, which is super efficient. Like we saw this sort of ability in some extent after this, right? Like this is Casting Call, install an agenda, put this on it as a condition counter. That's really good. I wish we saw more condition cards like that. It makes it in some cases harder to play. Actually, no, that's not, yeah, maybe we don't exactly want that. But like it makes certain agendas much harder to okay, hold on, let me regroup. The fact that Casting Call puts the card on the table in the same click, that's really, really efficient. Now we've seen other condition cards like Rover Algorithm, stuff like that, and these you have to spend a click to attach it onto a piece of ice. That makes it slower, it makes it more clumsy. Admittedly, if you drew this, like, otherwise it's still clumsy though if it just did install the ice, the same kind of way like Building Blocks sort of does everything in one click. Because if you already had your ice on your table and you draw your Rover Algorithm, it wouldn't do anything. But again, if you save that click on like conditions, I think these condition operations sound a lot better. Now the other thing that we've seen is Transparency Initiative, which is like one of those wild cards from the Red Sen cycle that just makes no sense. I guess this sort of does with like some of the I don't know, it's just like way underneath the power level. And if it was even a bit better, you might see people doing the combos that they intended with it. Things like, what's it called? Dedication Ceremonying any agenda or using Mumbai Construction Company. I did see this card as a one of once in like Gagarin lists that were able to close games with Mumbai Construction. But like this says turn an agenda face up. Like if this was written like Casting Call where you installed the agenda face up, this card would probably see play. Unfortunately it doesn't. So you're spending a click doing very little. 3 Raven, 3 18, and lose on Centrals? Nah, we're playing Argus. We'll be fine on Centrals, I hope. It's always fun to see different takes. Sanjay's new ID tourney and mnemonic cards. There's some really cool things, and like a lot of it's just like, I don't know, even if you're interested in game design, it's like so fun to just goof with things and see how things work. Feels so odd that public agendas are a Wayland thing, yet NBN gets the much better cards that make agendas public. That's the only card though. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of cool to some extent if NBN had some public stuff. So obviously currents rotated. To some extent, I think I'd be fine if currents existed only as an NBN thing. Like I think that's cool. As long as they're not strong. Like there's some of the weaker weird ones that NBN had. Obviously not like scarcity. Like the ones that's like it's a credit to make a run, or you know, events cost more, stuff like that. They're all red in that voice. I don't know what I'm doing. But we're doing Argus. I don't even know what we're doing in the NBN list. Conspiracy Initiative makes up an integral course of Wayland's Color Pie, which is getting worse version of things NBN already has. It's important that you keep that. Like, there needs to be a design document somewhere that says, like, okay, well, Shaper doesn't have any currents, so we gotta print a current. Also, Wayland's getting good, guys. Media Blitz is the only current, would be fine. Yeah, kind of, wouldn't it, huh? 3x Economic Warfare. 3 Surveyor, 3 Border Control. Oh, Jogging's planning the whole deck. It sounds right. This sounds good so far, Jogging. I think you're on the right track. I love that Transparency doesn't even install the agenda, just flips and installs them face up. Maybe that's like thematically good, but I don't know. Okay, so there's two things I want to do with Casting Call. One thing I want to do is to play it in Wayland and just see what it looks like as a tempo play, like casting call a false lead. False lead into casting call is also really good because they have to run and then they take from Argus either 2 tags or meat damage, which is obviously good. They'll probably take the meat damage and then they still have 2 tags. So if you have a false lead, you can stop them, and they also have to deal with border control. So it's actually really hard to not end with 1 or 2 tags. 1 tag is a bit harder to capitalize on. We could always run like a single C source or exchange of information, which I think we probably will because we're going to end up playing global food initiatives, I reckon. And then we can consulting visit from them. We can even play closed accounts if we want to, but economic warfare is probably just good enough. The other option also, like I want to try this in NBN just because you can do like fly on the wall, casting call, which is going to be a problem regardless of what happens. And then we can play like all seeing eye, exchange of information, closed accounts, and all this sort of fun stuff. So we'll see. Rip Media Blitz for that weird ad blitz deck. I don't think anyone misses that one. I miss Jumon though. All right, so that's 3x casting call. I don't think our agenda suite is going to be particularly too spicy. I think we're going to play, we probably want to play 3 false leads. I just don't think that lines up well. Global Food Initiative doesn't do much for us, but just take up slots, and we play fewer agendas. Restricted cards don't matter as of Friday, but we're going to play in that meta. Atlas is really good. I would definitely cast a call on Atlas and start advancing it, and then you actually can cast and call a face-up card, but I feel like, what are we missing? There's something core to this that we're missing. Oh, hostiles, those are good. And then we generally play like what, 1... You can do also some mean things here too. Like we could do what's it called? Not broad daylight, but the other one, armed intimidation. Cast and call armed intimidation advance is neat, right? Like if we score this, they take 2 tags. This is a pretty fine thing that you do install face up advance and put them on the clock. Alex Perdemo says, what about Divested Trust and Argus? The problem with Divested Trust is that it's only particularly good if you are playing 3-pointers or big agendas. The cost to steal, like none of our agendas have really strong cost to steal. I would see this more with cards like CityWorks Project. I would see this more with cards like SDS Drone Deployment, which makes sense if you run all 3-pointers and then this is your 1-pointers. But on top of that, I think you need to run Punitive Counter-Strike for that to be really good, because they were technically stolen and you get 5 credits. Just for this, for value, is not going to be very good. Oaktown could be good. Yeah, Oaktown's the other option for sure. And you can cast and call it an Oaktown renovation. And you can just keep this on the table, I guess. I don't know. I kind of want to try cast and call an armed intimidation. It seems like a no-win situation. Like they can't take 5 meat damage. And if they see this on the table, that means they have to draw up. And if the only issue is that if we do advance on this thing, we only have 1 click left. Which means if they take 2 tags, they still have to clear the tags, which is pretty good. But if they take 2 tags, we can't boom them because boom will be a double. So I don't know exactly if this is perfect. The key to this one always, to get the most sort of like, to get this the meanest thing, is to do install advance. Next turn you do advance, which at that point they probably go in for it. I don't know. We could try it. We could try it. It doesn't seem great, but we could. We have 7 influence left. HHN, Raven. Yeah, we definitely want to do those. They're good. I don't know if we actually have influence for everything. Hard hitting was 3. Yeah, we probably need to Raven. I think we can cut a corner here. Well, that's not good. HPT is a thing. High profile target is a thing, but high profile target only does 4 damage. Right? And then we also have to have it in hand. Like we can't even consulting visit for him for this. Like if we do, if they take 2 tags, this is 4 damage. So we're basically saying take 4 damage or take 5 damage. I don't know. And if we use the HPT, we don't have it. Like we don't have good recursion. Seems rough. Casting Call is taking influence of other good cards in our deck. So these are 2 influence. This is 2 influence. This is 2 influence. Go to 2x Casting Call. I kind of want to avoid doing that. I'd rather play Casting Call just because we want to try it than make our deck better by playing Raven. Oh, but no, we need to actually. Okay, we're playing 2. That's a bummer. Swap food for SDS. Yeah, F it. That lets us do everything we want to do. I'm worried when I start saying things like F it, I sound like some cool church pastor. Price X would be pretty nasty. 3 tags, the cast and call damage Argus decision. Yeah, we definitely are. I think basically every Argus deck runs 3 Price X as a start. Price X, we're going to do Rashida because it's good and we need to draw cast and call and our other cards. Economic Warfare, 2 or 3. We'll do Hedge Fund. We do like Too Big to Fail, usually a bit more than IPO. I don't know if that ratio is good. And I'm not a big fan of NGO Friend in this deck. We'll see. Your friends don't like Jesus, F them. Wish I had a priest like that growing up. Fan influencer Ravens without hunting grounds. Hate feels bad, but I guess tags are the hate. I don't know. Like the thing with Ravens is they're double Ravens and they need to get their card down. Like they need to find the hunting grounds. I hear you. 2x consulting, yeah, and we'll do an audacity as well, of course. I think we'll do like what? Do you do 2 booms or 1 of each? What do people do? 1 boom, 1 high profile. 3 Verrayer? 3 surveyors? We're gonna do border controls. Tithonium, there's a big issue right now, and that's like, I don't know whether whoever has been playing more Netrunner than me this week, which is probably a lot of people, how bad are barriers modernly? Because like Tithonium was getting good for a while because Paperclip was restricted, so like you weren't seeing it in Criminal, you weren't seeing it in Shaper, you were sometimes seeing it in Anarch. But the problem with now, everyone can run it. So the difference between like a Criminal breaking this for like what? 6 minimum to them breaking this for 4. Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's nice for the 4-1-9 matchup. Yo, man, what? How's it going? What up? I was trying to say. I wouldn't play Tithonium. Yeah, I don't think we do play Tithonium. I'd rather play Archer. Archer's really good against Faust. Have fun seeing Paperclip slicing through it. Yeah, Alex, totally. Latara, how's it going? Metro here for lunch break. Yo, enjoy your lunch. What do you got? Paperclip isn't quite everywhere, but it's still a lot of influence. Yeah. Tithonium can still be good against Shaper. Don't they just like Palangi this or whatever? Preemptive action? Yeah, maybe. You can blow the turtle. Oh, with this thing? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I don't know if we do it. I don't know if there's other barriers we want. Like I've seen some people play what's it called? Spiderwebs just because it interacts well against Boomerang. I like a Spiderweb, yeah, Rob, I agree. Spiderweb seems pretty good on meta. For central servers, do you like Mouseless a fair bit? It's pretty okay against Boomerang, bad against Patap. I don't know. On to Sentries, like we're running out of slots at this point. Like Surveyors, I kind of like Surveyors a fair bit. They give you a bit of a late game, but admittedly, like we're not running a lot of ice, so that seems a bit worse. Like I want to run like 17 piece of ice for Surveyor to be good, because the chance of us drawing this early and then, you know, it being trash is pretty bad. Cut a Spiderweb for Hordem. Do we really want to Hordem? Does it matter that much? Like we're never gonna triple advance this, are we? Mushroom Burger, pretty nice. Did people get rid of barriers in the new meta? I don't know. I'm worried about it. About border control. Colossus seems better with low ice, but it's expensive. Colossus, I don't even know why Colossus is good. Like Colossus is really expensive. We're not going to advance it, so it can come in at 4 strength. Giving the runner a tag, that's fine, but trashing a program is not that meaningful. Like Criminals, probably the best case scenario, but Shapers can simul chip, Anarchs have heat breakers. I don't even see why trashing programs would be good. But it's just good. I'm not feeling the Hordem, the Surveyor. I really am not. Like I don't know whether we do like Swordsman. Hear me out. Swordsman and then like an Archer. We have false lead, so Archer, like we have a lot of 1-pointers. Archer doesn't seem the worst. I'd also maybe want to try a Winchester just because I've never played it. What number ice are we aiming for? I would assume like 14. That might be 14. I think is good. Colossus is great. Colossus is good in like SSO. I think we're doing 14. What are we sitting on right now? 14. But we're obviously 2 cards over. Biggest issue is we're running a lot of 1-pointers. Like we could drop a hostile and a false lead and play another armed intimidation. That would save us 1 slot. That's probably not the worst. Yeah, I want to try Winchester Gullet. We could drop an IPO maybe. Maybe? Okay, this is our opening hand. We keep this. We're playing against Criminal. We'd Hordem HQ, Hedge Fund IPO. Then next turn, we'd score that. Then we have Sheriff for HQ and Winchester for HQ. That's too good. -2 false lead. I kind of really want to play false lead though to see what false lead does with casting call. I'd rather cut 1 and 1. Colossus is nice with SDS. We're probably still not good enough in Argus now. I really don't think so. What are we doing, chat? Money isn't looking hot. You'd be surprised. We're trying to go fast though. But money isn't amazing. But like, there's usually not that much more money than this in Argus decks, and they're fine. -2 false leads, go 3x SDS. We're gonna lose so fast. No, I'm not gonna do 3x SDS. I'm gonna do. Cut armed. Oh yeah, wait, we can cut armed. Okay, that's good. We're still short with too many cards. Cityworks would be pretty nasty as a one of. Cityworks, I think, I don't know. Cityworks is like a weird card because like Cityworks it's basically screams for you to play punitive. I don't see why you'd play Cityworks without punitive. Cityworks also really good with dedication. Cutting the Audacity is also a possibility, but it does get you a win con. Maybe we can just cut an Econ Warfare. Go for IP block or pop-up. There's a big chance that a Swordsman is not the best option we have, I'll be honest. Like, I could see pop-up or IP block being better. Cut the Horde and maybe have a Swordsman, maybe? The end to run is good. Engram Flush. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that's spicy. We don't have AI hate, but I'd rather try Engram Flush. Lots of Hunting Grounds. Hunting Grounds deals with Engram Flush pretty well. Inspired. I'll try it. We'll try it. Okay, we have to cut a card. We do have to cut a card. Do we just cut a Prysac? Do we cut the Whoredom? What do we cut? Spiderweb? 464. I feel like we have a lot of code gates. Probably cut a Mouseless? I don't know. Is there one pointer that they have to steal? What about Underway? Underway is really expensive and it is a mean card, but you'd build your deck around that. I think like you'd play Arc Lockdown, stuff like that. Slot Machine is nice on Centrals for rush decks since it can pay for itself. Yeah, actually Slot Machine is probably better than Flesh. I don't know, we care about incidental damage, but I guess we don't so much. This is good against I've had worse. I'll try this though. 3x mouse always though. Yeah, I think we're gonna cut the Whoredom. Nah, we'll try this. Mouseless is so good. Disposable HQ? No, that card is absolutely a terrible design. I don't like anything that says agendas are out of the game. From my experience, 80% of runners of JNet Casual have been on Turtle this week. Virus Hate seems very worthwhile. Not sure if there's slots in Argus though. I feel like in Argus we would do it around our ice because we're really not that encouraged to do well, what's it called? Like if we had better, like we could play anti Turtle Ice. But if we were encouraged to play CVS, which I don't think we are, luckily we're taxing out in other ways. But as soon as the turtle gets up, like, you know, Diversion, Hushuk, like they just get in everywhere. At least we have Ravens. I don't know. I'm not sold. But I just want to see what this does. Like I just want to see what Casting Call does, really. Winchester plus Bad Pub feels worse. It has 3 traces on it, so like I don't think it's the worst case. But classically, yeah, Trace plus Bad Pub is bad. That's not right, is it? We'll see. It's just another card I just haven't played, so I just want to try it. And if we put it in a deck, I don't think I've ever rezzed it. That's also the issue, like, you always ice up HQ at the beginning of the game against, like, Criminal, and then, like, later you draw your Afshar, and later you draw your Winchester, and you're like, well, what the heck? Could go IP? Yeah, it's very easy for us to go IP block, instead of the Engram Flush. I just want to see what the Engram does. It doesn't scream to be too good. Jessica has a Slot Machine love, too. Yeah, we can also do Slot Machine. There's a lot of options, for sure. We'll just try these because they're weird. Oh wait, we should probably do that. If they hunting around your Engram, they eat a Raven tag. Sure, but are we gonna put the Engram on the remote? Oh, we're playing against Kitten. Awesome. So for this, okay. For dinner, don't judge me. For dinner I'm gonna have more dinner. I had this garden cocktail, which I can't tell if that's the color they sell this product in or whether it's been on the shelf since the 70s. It's like super faded. I had a banana and some yogurt. Geist. All right. All right. Yo, hey, hey. This hand could be worse. Geist has tag tech, classically. Like, this could easily be Forger Geist. On the Lamb Geist, no one home. Technically doesn't fire in Geist, but it's good. We have an early hostile. The Data Raven, like, we don't love this on HQ, but Data Raven on HQ is okay. We could do both better and worse than this hand. Whatever, we'll try it. Flush Prysac. Ooh, mouseless. Problem with Data Raven's like we want it on the remote. We also have to worry about like what's it called? Spy cameras. So getting ice on R&D can be valuable. They still have to deal with our ability. I think we're just gonna ice up this turn for sure. We'll do mouseless on the remote, I guess. This is also really hard for them to boomerang. If they like grappling hook this, it's not that big of a deal. Like we get a credit for pad tap, they get credit. I guess we have to put this on HQ. Oh, we have so many better HQ ice though, like Avshar, and the Trace one's not gonna be amazing. I would keep and just hostile first turn. If you hostile first turn and they diversion you, you're in a really ugly spot. I don't think us hostiling turn 1 or hostiling turn 2 changes that much. So I would rather just not get diverted. We win this game with T2 hostile, T4 Atlas counter. We still have a lot to do with to get that Atlas out. Like we need a border control. And then the problem is like border control, the best combination we have is Raven, and a Raven's not on HQ. Odds are if the can was near a neon light, it would have bleached the color. It wasn't. Like this doesn't get good shelf spacing. It's actually, you're right, it was at the top. Does this have a date on it? It didn't taste old. It says 1995. No, it doesn't. I wanted to try out a Caesar, and you need this stuff. But then you can't get Clamato because it has clams in it. There's no date on it. Oh wait, no, there is. Ah, 2021. Apparently people buy this stuff. Okay, Tech Trader. Street Peddler. Good triggers. That's economy and prognostic Q loop. That's just good. I don't think it tells anything about the deck, but like it's a good card. In theory, we have to play around Clot. Clot me. Guys, first 3 turns are meaningless. Just bluff behind massless. Yeah, you might be right. I'm gonna ask for action. I don't know what they can do here. They have to be specifically on Clot. There's a rules question unrelated to this game. If a runner installs a pad tap, turn 1 and gets an installed Sundew, does the runner get a pad tap credit when Sundew fires? Yeah, why not? Sundew gives credits. It's a really good play in Argus? What is? Turn 1 hostile? Against criminal, no. That play, like in theory, you want them to run turn 1, then you score. No, but then you can't capitalize on the credit differential. I don't know. Rob's line, sorry. Yeah, bluff behind a mouseless. Yeah, I think we can get away with it. Pad tap credit from installing click 1 versus Sundew. Oh, on installing it. No, because they reworded Sundew. Sundew gives you the 2 credits at the top of the turn. So if you install on your click, no. Sorry. If you install the same turn. Because Sundew fires on your turn. No, I don't think it should. They're on 9. What did they do? They did credit, draw. Okay. I think we need Atlas with the counter, though. Luckily. It's good enough. Yeah, so I don't think you get the credit. You did get the credit with Asmari, right? Because when Asmari, if they called resource and you played a resource, you would get the pad tap credit because of the resource play. But I think Sundew gives it at the beginning of the turn. I don't know. You have to read. We read Sundew today for what it's worth. We looked at the card. I would trust Janet on that as well, admittedly, unless you're turntabling a Vacheron. All right. I almost never run on an unadvanced card. Oh, there you go. There's the boomerang. There's the play. Oh, they have 2 clicks left. They're going to have some tags. Do we res the mouse? We probably res it for 3. But then they know what it is. Whatever. Going for 2 Atlas counters? You know it. They probably give us the credit, right? Oh, they took a tag? They took a tag? They're gonna have a tag, we're gonna have no way to capitalize on it. Wait, no, we could. That's a Gabali. We might not have the money to do it, but in theory they have 3 tags and 1 card in hand. They trashed 1. If they trash this one, they're safe. No trash? Sorry? Alright, boomerang down. Easy game, just got top deck hard hitting news. Yeah, that would be good. If they trash this, they'll be safe to Econ Warfare, but they have to clear the tag, so it's unlikely for them to trash this unless they have some burst economy on Street Peddler. Like, Peddler gives them a credit that they install something costing 1 or 0, and then they could get another trashable. Like, they can get clickless economy. It's hard to totally get Geist down on how many credits they can get. Sugarlad's a 3 of inner deck. Yo, Price Tag is a sick card. Price Tag is really good. Price Tag makes Hokusai look dumb. To capitalize on runner mistakes, yeah. Oh, they did. They trashed it. They're down to 3 tags, 3 credits. Now, we have to do, like, click perfectly into boom if we have it. We can't consult. Masterwork coming down off of the tech trader. We can also just trash the tech trader. The other stuff on the peddler was a Bagalter and a gamble. And there you go. There's the diversion. Now we look dumb. Now we look very dumb. Now we look incredibly dumb. Oh boy! Oh, they destroyed us! Yeah, they're gonna take all our money away. That's such a confident play. Damn it. Okay, well, we're gonna Econ War for them, I guess. And then what, we just click 3? They can't steal this. I guess we draw 1. Oh, okay. They can still diversion us. Oh, that was a good doof. Everyone in support of this game? Yeah, yo, Yin Silver, how's it going? That was a really good diversion. Alright, no yogurt for anybody. And they're still in it. 3 tags, 1 credit. They might like go aggro on HQ at this point because if they're assuming we're holding a boom, they can trash it for 1. That being said, though, we don't have the 4 credits for boom, so like the best case would either be too big to fail boom, or less likely easy mark boom. If we consult for it, it's her whole turn in 6 credits, so we're not there yet. I think we'll actually click and trash the tech trader. Oh, they're gonna remove the tags. Oh, also we draw into our 1 copy of high stakes. We only have 1 high stakes, right? Like high stakes will do 4 damage right now. I think we only have 1. Let's just tab over. Yeah, sorry, high profile, not high stakes. Goes well, I've been watching on and off today, heard about Continentals, and I wanted to brush up on some Netrunner so I can just spectate the games to understand. Heck yeah. Alright. They use the spy camera and they know the top card. They know what we're going to draw. It's an Atlas. So they know there's an Atlas in hand. If we click 3, we'll get up to Data Raven credits. In theory, we could draw credit, play the... It's a 1 in 38 to get lethal. I think we trashed the tech trader, right? Oh, Beanstalk. Yeah, not easy mark. You're right. Fun fact, doof means dumb in German. If you call someone a doof, I think they'd figure it out in English as well. That's pretty good, though. Yeah, we'll draw 1's credit trash. Not amazing. But a lot of their economy is tied up into this card. They're also running gambles, which is by no means common. Always draw here, click for credit trash. Well, Rob, we nailed it. The thing is they know there's an Atlas, so if they run HQ, if they get 1 Atlas, they'll probably stop. It's always worth paying attention. I don't do a good enough job on JNet to realize when they see the top of your deck with this. In person, you have to show it, so that kind of, you know, gets in there a bit better. But when it's just a chat log and I'm talking, that sneaks by for sure. Yeah, you see, now they're going for the Atlas. Can't res. Spiderweb, okay, good hit. If they see the drone deployment too, they'll just probably install a grappling hook and go back. This is looking like an apocalypse. No, they don't have the money. What am I talking about? Omar is in Spain, so it's like 4:40 a.m. for them? Do you mean Omar the Anarch? They're going back. They got the Atlas. Okay, so that might stymie some of the pressure because they got the card that they saw, the agenda that they saw. But they still have to take 2 meat damage or a tag. Grappling hook and boomerang. So that's another program down, so the SDS looks a bit better. SDS is kind of strong. I don't think a lot of times they access the programs on the table, unless they're on like, what's it called? The Shaper, Rozeki. Oh, wow, wow. Guess who's clicking for credits? Geist Apoc, yeah, it's a thing. It's fun too. So we're gonna click 3. They could Doofus here. It'd be pretty good for them. They have exactly the credit. We can't res the ice. They know that we couldn't res it for 3. If they run next turn, we could always do like Econ Warfare into hard hitting, which would put them into what we would call tag hell. It's very hard for them to clear that many tags. I really don't think they're on misdirection, and the other one rotated. I don't know where Omar lives. Second spy camera coming down. Again, they can put up to 6 of these in their deck, so there might be a thing on here that gives them value. An IPO, we're a couple turns away from that. And Spiderweb, again, is actually pretty good. Good against Grappling Hook, good against Boomerang. It's actually like a nice meta inclusion. Looks like we're going to throw out something here. We can do credit install. What? 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 They had a tech. They teched for this. They're also on Hushik, which is worth knowing. Like, you want to put a border control on Centris. So now we just kind of want to, like, go. I hate playing against Boom. Can't wait to cast and call to this thing. It's a thing. Yeah, it is a thing, isn't it? Okay. Well, they're still on low credits, right? Like, next turn they're probably going to credit and hit this, and then they still don't have money. If they run R&D, we have the Engram Flush, which is kind of a hard guess. I guess you just guess hardware. They're playing a lot of everything. There's like way more events that I'm not used to seeing in Geist. I don't think we definitely click, and then we just install this somewhere. I feel like losing to Hushik at this point, they're not really set up for it. 1-0-0-0. We can res the Raven. This on the remote seems probably fine. I'm not that worried about central accesses outside the Hushik. We still HHN. No, they didn't run that turn. Yeah, they didn't run, so we can't, Rob. But yeah, if they did, we would have, for sure. So the only issue here is that we're weak to diversion if they do pressure that. Might be eating, watching. What are you eating? I'm really hungry. TBTF. Okay, that's obviously sweet. We could do install advanced TBTF. Probably pretty good. They have to get through the mouse. They have to take the tag of the damage, and they have the spiderweb, and they still have a tag. If we have an advancement counter on this, it opens up the world of possibilities. We've also trashed 2 grappling hooks, 2 boomerangs. Sorry, 2 boomerangs, 1 grappling hook. Oh, we also could like trash with misdirection the drone deployment. That's fascinating. Hey, we have money now. Veg burgers. Heck yeah. Feed the SDS. SDS wouldn't have been bad there. We just didn't have enough money. Like, we have to worry about diversion run remote, which is probably like, I think we just have to be more brave, and by we I mean me. It's generally an issue. Spain is also where the lizard people originate from. Oh, excuse me. What? So we definitely can score this next turn to give us a counter. Counter is valuable. It lets us pull Audacity to close the game. If we can score another 2, 4, 5, 2 points, I guess. It lets us pull casting call. It lets us pull the meat damage punishment that we need. Hitting the misdirection with SDS would feel pretty good. We also have to worry, like, if they're on Hushik and they're not set up for Hushik just yet, and Hushik with peddlers, like, or tech traders makes a lot of sense. Prognostic is another one-coster. These are one-costers. I don't know what other good one-costers they have. Maybe the HQ, the trash to stop and end the run on the remote, the Lucky Charm would make sense. Clicking for credit. So this is interesting, right? I guess it's not. You can spend 2 clicks and 1 credit to remove a tag, or 2 clicks, yeah. Boomerang on the remote. This is why you play your friend Spiderweb. Audrey the non-believer? The lizard people. Yeah, this is why Boomerang is sweet, right? So now they're running. They're in theory firing their prognostic cues. They see the top of their deck. They have Masterwork, so they always install a piece of hardware while the run begins. So we'll just res a spiderweb. This also strands the boomerang, right? It's hard for them to to make a successful run here. They could also just pop the boomerang to get a credit in a card, which is like totally legitimate. And then it won't put it back into their deck, unfortunately, and that's the third boomerang. But they'll have it back, which is another one coster. So yeah, they're just using the boomerang. I think that's fine. We'll just fire Unbrokens. So now they're at 0 credits. Oh, they don't actually make money. Sorry, I'm obviously used to them having a tech trader. So they just draw a free card and cycle the boomerang. Jessica, you okay? Asks Vincent. All right. So if we score this, we're pretty far away from IPO. Yeah, no credit for them. I totally forgot. We did trash that. Second spy camera. And we have a Rashida. So it looks like the play is to score the Atlas. They're on 1 tag, which we can't really capitalize on meaningfully. They didn't make a successful run. Oh, wait, actually, we could just hard hitting use them. So we have a fork here, right? Like we could do credit IPO, which seems fine. We could credit IPO honestly seems okay. Am I stupid? I'm gonna do credit IPO. Like if we had 1 more credit, we would have done advanced credit IPO, and that would be the best case scenario. Because next we can either get 2 token Atlas or do score Atlas with a token and jam Rashida. Rob says always go fast. Yeah, this is definitely not the fast option, but they're in such a bad spot that the chance of them getting up to speed seems low. It also, I don't know. Hard-hitting news. Hard-hitting news probably is really good there too, right? Because then they're likely, but if we hard-hitting news after we get the counter, we actually can threaten. They also know the top of R&D. They did use a spy camera. They removed their last tag, so they're no longer tagged, and that's the 4th spy camera if I'm not mistaken. And they have a paperclip in the bin, so hey, now this remote's not safe anymore. And we did just top deck a border control what they saw. So let's go ahead and get on more points on our board and an Atlas token. So if they want to install the paperclip, they do have 2 bad publicity. They are starting with 0 credits, mind you. They have the ability just to break the spider web. Oh shit. Yeah, that's a good one. So that's kind of the bummer with SDS, and it gets a bit worse if everyone is playing paperclip. Now, if they have that and they score this, they can just trash the paperclip. So, and if it's in the remote, they probably have the paperclip installed. So that's definitely a bit of a bummer. But if they run HQ here, at least, they won't have a chance to install a program, and then the SDS drone deployment will be pretty good. Because they have the trash to misdirection, and they probably do have simulchip considering it's a trash ability card. It's only 2 influence, and with grappling hook there's some pretty good combos here. So they're running here. I imagine that boomerang could show up. I don't mind paying 2 for Engram flush. We have a lot of cards in hand, so a lot of value in here. I think we call event. I don't know, we call event or resource. What are we calling? So if it's event, it hits diversion, this final gamble. If it's resource, it can hit a tech trader, it can hit a tech writer. I'm gonna call event. There's not a lot of events in Geist, but like I just want to get the diversion out, really. Event, then resource. Call resources for the back. They've been holding resources. They definitely have been holding resources. Fire Unbroken. So it's Hushik. That's a good event. Grappling hook, worth noting. Hostage, that's a pretty okay event. Gabali and spy camera. So we could trash a Hushik and a hostage. That's pretty good. The Hushik better than any. I don't know. Do they know this card? Okay, pajamas have been found. Bedtime. Hey, Jessica, sleep well. Thanks for dropping by. I don't know if they saw that Atlas, but they're now on game point, which is really scary with the SDSs. Did they ever see that one? Oh, they did see that one. Yeah, they did see it. Oh, we could have used a shuffle with the Atlas. I didn't realize they saw it. We could have used the Atlas token to prevent the shuffle or to cause the shuffle so they would access an unknown card. I didn't realize that they saw the top card. That's definitely on us. They either have to take the tag or 2 meet. They're going to take the tag, and they have a single tag. Oh, that's a bummer. So now we're on game point, which is the reason why 3-pointers might be bad for this list, is that the casting call doesn't matter. So maybe casting call is way better with food, right? Because if we do jam this. All right, so they trashed Political Operative and Bravado to get the grappling hook down. Otherwise, we could have trashed that thing because they're tagged. So I think we're just going to do... We could install the Rashida, but I don't think we need to install the Rashida. If we don't install the Rashida, we just have more cards in hand. And more cards in hand means good, because they're less likely to steal the SDS. So I don't think we're actually going to install the Rashid on their mode. Can you jam SDS? No. They would win. Well, you're right. They might not have the money. If they have Stim Hack, they win. I don't know if they're on Stim Hack. Maybe that's the point, that we could have actually jammed the SDS. I don't know. I feel like they're in a hard spot. Like, they have 5 tags, and we still have the Atlas counter. Yeah, verbose. I think hard hitting news to boom is correct, because we always can pull the damage from hand. So like they need 2 clicks for this, so they basically need to get 4 credits, or even 3 credits in 2 clicks, which might actually be difficult. Oh, there you go. So that's a good reason on keeping the Rashida. So I think we just let this go through. Right, if this goes through, they're gonna have 1 click, they'll be on 5 credits, and we'll be on 2, and then we can just still pull. Yeah, we just let this go through. I don't think this matters. Unless they do an access there. Lol at the, yo, Endo, what's up? Yeah. There's a very, I put a filter on, don't worry. Yeah, so they still can't get rid of all the tags here. And with 2 credits is enough, right? We couldn't boom unless we draw too big to fail, but we can always just pull a high profile target, which will do 10 damage. In theory, they could put down like a Citadel Sanctuary, but I think we know most things in their hand. Maybe we don't know 1 card. They could win. They definitely have a chance here to win. If they run HQ though, we just pull with the Atlas token. They should just check the top of the deck and then run HQ. I think that's the best chance they have. Because we know they can, or Spy Camera run R&D. And regardless of whether or not we shuffle. Like, they can even force us to shuffle. But, like, no matter what, if they use Spy Camera run R&D, like, we're just going to pull the kill piece regardless. So, I don't know. I think they run HQ. They could do a really weak Hushuk. They could do a 2-card Hushuk. So Spy Camera sees the top card of R&D, so they know the top card of R&D. Regardless of whether or not it's an agenda, they can always run it to force a shuffle. Yeah, 3-pointers with cast and call, I don't, it's probably an issue. We want them to be relevant as long as possible. Kabali, that's it. I think they could have they had a shot there. They had a 1-6 of taking it. At least they don't like boom decks. So at least it's not boom. There was 1 in HQ. Yeah, they could have done it. I think they should, like, installing the Gabali is basically not throwing the game, but it doesn't give them a chance to win the game. While we have a counter and they have 5 tags, like, they're obviously gonna lose unless they can divert us again. But we did have an STS in hand, so they definitely should have gone for an access, either R&D or HQ. I don't think there's any reason not to go for an access right there. Five tags. I don't know. I don't know how long it could be. So we also get to see their hands, so we can tell, like, okay, imagine we did install SDS drone deployment with cast and call or not, and did advance. They would have had about 3 credits, it seems. The diversion went off the turn before, but no, they diverted that turn. So what could they have done? Like, they could have bravadoed. That would give them like 4 credits. Then they'd run here. They have 6 credits. So spiderweb plus 3. Yeah, they probably could have stolen it and lost. The bad publicity makes like paperclip. This one with paperclip is like 7. You can always run this twice. Just install paperclip and run again. It's like clicking for 2. So like this remote, they definitely could have got in. Hey, cheers, you too. Oh, they left. I'm gonna sleep 8. Okay, cool. Savage, might as well have been boom. It might as well have been boom. We had the clicks, didn't we? We could have done, no, we couldn't have played boom. We really couldn't have. Because we only had 2 credits. So we can't do credit boom because boom is a double. Playing a second copy of one of those meat damage cards seems reasonable. All right. Unfortunately, it looks like we have to play food, which is gonna goof with our. It's gonna goof with our influence. So we're gonna have to play like one fewer Raven or some good card. So we can play 3 food and drop Engram Flesh and another one. I really want to try Casting Call, so I'm gonna play 3 of them. And I'm gonna make the rest of the deck worse. So this seems legal, like 3/6. No, we have too few agenda points. So we can do another Oaktown. No. We could do Oaktown False Lead. Yeah, that's probably fine. That's like classic. Okay, cut Engram. Yeah, we definitely could cut Engram. I don't think Engram's particularly amazing, and IP block would have done better there. But with Bet Pub, it's not great. What else can we play? We only have 11 ice, so we want to get some more ice back in there. Sing Slot Machine is fine. Slot Machine seems pretty okay. You saw how good the Spiderweb is. Like, obviously, that's one of the decks I'll play the most Boomerangs, but Spiderweb seems reasonable. Oh, wait, do we cut a false lead? I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I cut them. Why is swapping to GFI so important here? Was it because SDS was too big last game? So yeah, that's largely it. The idea with Casting Call, like Casting Call is like a punitive Counter-Strike type deck. Like this ability doesn't matter if the agenda that they're going to steal is going to win them the game. So we are on 4 points, and if we Casting Call the 3-pointer, the Casting Call is blank, right? Like it literally doesn't matter because if they run it, they win the game before those 2 tags matter. The idea with Global Food Initiative is not considered a 3-pointer, so no matter what the runner does, is they're going to have to at least steal 4 agendas besides some turning table stuff. No, even then they have to. So the idea is like the amount of time that Casting Call isn't a blank card is way longer. 3 food? Okay. Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now we just have to put in some, we have 2 slots for ice, so it'll put us at 13. Yeah, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal that we're playing food in this, I reckon. Okay, so we now want, what's like the best ice? Like what's, you know, the good stuff? I think it's Dead or Raven. But what else is like annoying? Does Wayland have taxing ice? I feel like not anymore. I guess Surveyor? We can play 1 Surveyor. That's good. Afshar, Archer, Border Control, Raven, Mouse, Spiderweb, Surveyor. Treb for Stargate? Why do we care about Treb for Stargate? Treb's way too expensive for 7. We can't afford to spend 7 on an ice. We just can't. Is it good enough to play Bailiff Monolith? Yo, Kitten, good game. I think you tried to spell Afshar? Winchester, there's no one like that. Winter, what's up? We have a Winchester. We've never played one. We've never rezzed one, so it's kind of just a novelty to see what it does. But yeah, we definitely are trying it. I think Trebuchet is too expensive. Like, do we just try Bailiff? Good game. Vanilla? Do we try Bailiff over Vanilla? Like, this is our Vanilla. I think we just lost the Ustream. YouTube. Oh, no, really? Baram, I'm hoping that's not the case. Let me check on my end. The YouTube stream, you still there? Nah, it looks like it's your iPad. Okay, we'll try that. Argus seems good. Argus wasn't really hit by any of the changes, I don't think, besides the fact that runners now just have more economy and setup faster, but which is a big deal. But not having Film Critic definitely helps. Definitely hurts. It's okay on YouTube. Oh, fantastic. I've been doing a good job not swearing, if that's the real thing that actually stops everything. I can't tell. Yo, Brick, what up? I don't know if we'll have time, but I really want to play NBN with okay, against Lat we can hostile turn 1. This is a good hand. Hey. So Lat, honestly I would think Brick, probably Lat Faust? Lat Faust seems right. Luckily we capitalize on the damage. Lat, if you don't know, has a link, which is pretty good, 45-15, and at the end with the same number of cards in hand as a corp, they draw a card. I'm just gonna go score the hostile. I'm not really worried about turn 1 pressure, like if they wanton us or diversion us, that's not really expected. From here, we can set up remote, we can block R&D. We have a pretty good hand, outside of not hardening news. And they're gonna get the free card draw. Free card draw is really good against punitive. It's kind of good against damage if it really comes to the 1 card difference, but a lot of times with Boom it doesn't. Good night. Very happy to be in a real-time measurable grid. Hey, glad you can make it. Double Rizeki. A stack of Ians is some fun. Good luck. Uh-oh. That's a start. Alright, so now we are very much on the clock. So we're just going to jam as aggressively as possible before something happens. We both got something to do on turn 1. So Rizeki 2 a turn, day job. That is absolutely terrifying. This is some nuts combo deck. I'm gonna bluff on the Mouseless. What is this deck? Day job? They're gonna have 13 credits. We can't double mouse. This is pretty intimidating. What can they do with infinite money? It's weird how that's a question. But like, I can't think of anything absurdly strong. APOC? I don't think you double Rizeki turn 1 for APOC. I don't think you play Rizeki in APOC. But yeah, day job does look like APOC, right? Do you Rizeki APOC? Dirty Laundry coming HQ. 3 good hits here in terms of information. Economic warfare. I would say that's not APAC. But I'd say also we're not going to have money anymore. So that's the thing, is like one of the only things we can do to capitalize on the fact that we're never going to get credit differential is casting call, right? Security Nexus? It could be. It could be. But yeah, there you go. Faust Lat. I think that made sense. Faust Anakam. That's a good combo. This works well together. Mouseless luckily is like pretty bad for Faust. It's like what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. I was really trying to find a good Shaper APOC, but recently I failed. Shaper APOC seems still really good. Like all this installable stuff breaks really cheaply on the turn they're installed. Jam? I think we do. You can Audacity and Hostile for the win? Yeah, I think we do just Audacity. Then we have to draw the Hostile though. Yeah, I think we don't fuck around. Oh, sorry, I mean we don't goof around. Oh, I tried to click the wrong card. Yeah, I think we do just score this out. Playing with no hand is a bummer, but we're on game point. NA it. We definitely could have NA'd it, and I think we might have been able to get away with it. Throwing out an Out of the Ashes, so they're going to triple notoriety us or something. So they just use that at the beginning of the turn, right? Like, how cool is that? How cool of a combo is that? Faust on the run on the corpse turn, you just boost the strength, which throws out an Out of the Ashes, which means with Anakam you draw that turn. Like, how wild is that? Audacity next turn? Yeah, if we never advanced it and they didn't run it, we would be able to Audacity it with a token and then score the Hostile to a win. Paperclip. It's a Mouseless. I'll res it. We have no money, but at least there's a lot of cards. Fire, oh, so we get a credit back. We hit a Hunting Grounds. That's meaningful. Single action. Trash to Rashida. They also have a tag. We have no credits. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have to Audacity there. They're definitely not on Clot. That's so good. Well, I don't know. It's not a great because it like just cycles. The fact that you throw it Out of the Ashes obviously is more value. Like they just trashed Out of the Ashes to draw a card with Anakam. This lot does look really cool. I love that's all they need, like day job, 2 Rizekis. That's probably all the economy they're gonna need. Obviously sec testing is great. That was not sec test, that was an Axis. So they saw a high profile, an economic, and we only have 1 more meat damage card right now. They're gonna remove the tag. And they're gonna just throw it Simulchip? Why? Oh, to get a free card. That's amazing. So they just didn't have the card they wanted. So with Faust, they can just like control their hand size so they end their turn with 0 cards. That's so cool. That's so cool. Huge fan. If we draw a Hostile, we have to hide it in hand. Oh my god, are you kidding me? If we click for credit, it's really suspicious. We just have to hope they give us a Mouseless credit. It's unfortunate just how fast Argus can be. Just keep drawing. Yeah, I know. We should have just kept. We should. The fact that we stopped to think about it was the issue. We should have known at the beginning of the turn we were going to draw 5 or 3, obviously. So out of the ashes, free 2 credits. This deck rules. This looks really cool. Out of the ashes, free run. No, no! They got it. They got the hostile. Taking a tag. I kind of want their deck to win, though, I'll be honest. I don't know, like... Obviously, they don't get the lat to fire. When do they do at the end of their deck? Like, they levy AR... Harmony AR Therapy? That's not enough cards. This is really cool. Also, like, just putting the Bailiff on HQ is not bad, because we would have got... Oh, we couldn't have rezzed it. But, like, it eventually gets us money. So I think we just want to click to credits, because once we have 2, we're threatening the top deck. Turning Wheel. Okay, that's really bad against Bailiff. I'm going to draw credit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How do we keep doing this? They're going to rip it out of HQ on a free Out of the Ashes run. They're just going to rip it. Oh, Mouseless. Okay, no rip. No rip. Anacam draws a card off Gamble. Vincent, shh. Not in chat. We have 1 click to survive. We found the 1 card in our deck that will make us win, and they don't have access to Clot because they don't have access to a Simul Chip into anything. That's it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was rooting for them. Oh, in theory, we have to wait because they couldn't consider throwing out a Clot or self-modifying code. Sweet. Right, because that's a cool thing with Faust is you can use it in Shaper to throw a card out into your heap. I kept top decking those. Yo, that dick. I wrote dick because I was gonna say nice at the same time. Yo, that dick is nice. Yo, that deck is so cool. Yeah, that was a play that showed up a bunch in Haley. When Shaper was running Faust stuff, they would use Faust to like throw out a Clot, and then, or even in Anarch, they'd use Faust to throw out a Clot from hand. And made Clot way more playable in Anarch because they had they were already playing Clone Chip at the time because Clone Chip Parasite. Obviously, it's nutty. It's my pride and joy right now. It seems so cool. What happens when you run out of cards? Transition to breakers. 2 hearts. So each heart adds 5 more hit points back. Finding 5 different cards can't be that difficult. And Golden Paper Clip Blanky, that's definitely enough. Super cool. Ask the list and play it. Do you have the list? Are you showing the list? If they don't want to share the list, if they're gonna play for a tournament or whatever, like, yeah, power to them. Oh, never mind, it's right there. Dope. Thank you. That's so cool. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. Unfortunately, like, it's 11:10, so I don't think we have time to build this and play it exactly. I'll promise you that we'll get back to this the next time I stream. It really is. Thanks for the game, eh? I'm gonna give this a shot on the next stream for sure. Sorry, what I was gonna say. Yeah, this weekend is a bit more difficult to stream on. It is Maddie's 30th birthday, and we have stuff planned all weekend, so we might not be able to stream on Sunday, which is a bummer because we didn't do enough content. It's not a bummer, that's a birthday, I'm really excited about it, but like, we'll maybe stream on Monday. I can't do Monday either. Oh, we'll figure something out. And cheers. So yeah, we'll definitely play that next time we stream. Cool. We'll jump in and get another game in. We're doing Corp. I can't believe I've been remembering to do casual, but I think it's working in standard because maybe we have been remembering it, but our deck is standard legal, right? Close birthday is B-Day month for you. Yeah, everyone has. June's a good old Gemini month. Actually, no, I don't think Maddie's a Gemini. Maddie's whatever the next one is, which is way worse than Gemini. 1990 babies unite. Dirty 30, yeah, eh? How's your 30 been, Vincent? Been okay? Max, okay, Max, cool. Max got a card draw, which is good. Max also got damage. Opening hand has an after for HQ. Do love that. Have the Audacity price deck. Hand is good. Thanks, you too. I'm imagining that there's a couple max lists that right now I haven't tested but seem good. Just playing Faust and value seems good. Oh, never mind. It's 112 cards. Yeah, Dexas, let's go. So this is a 100 card deck. So never mind. Anything I was going to say, or a 99 card deck. I'm a huge fan. I'm so excited to play big max decks now that Faust is out. It just makes everything better. Also, no restricted cards means that Paperclip did not preclude you from playing. Not that you would have played any of the other restricted cards. I guess you would have played Rumor Mill if you could. But what does it add? Like, you don't want to play what's it called? Labor Rights. You don't want to shuffle your deck. It seems like a pain in the ass. Well, they definitely are in Wanton, so I'm gonna just ice up HQ. We, in theory, could do like Rashida Price Tag into the remote just to set up something, but next turn we are going to be drawing 4 anyways, and we're going to score the hostile out, so I don't think it matters. We'll just get a credit lead. Host of the casting call gets played this one? We can only hope. Street peddling to Fem. Okay, so Fem definitely means make what's it called, retrieval runs. There's some good reason to actually ice up archives, just because retrieval running Femming our data raven's a huge issue, Archer's a huge issue. It's obviously very, very good. I don't think the Sentry Breaker ability is that relevant. I'm not sure what Winchester is. I think Winchester's a 4/4, so that's gonna be really expensive anyways. They'd probably trace it. Making an entrance, it's a good card still. They can look at the top 6, they can rearrange, so they can set up their trashes. It also just gets heat breakers into the bin. It's pretty good. When I play this sort of deck in person, like, it does change the choices of cards. Like, I don't want to play Gachapon, unfortunately, in this deck when I'm playing it in person, just because it forces you to shuffle your deck, and like, no, thank you. But online, it's really good. Oh, they didn't even trash anything, which is wild. I think it's always good to trash stuff, right? Caddy Jones, good economy, but they're going down low early. Mystic Miami, also credit per turn. So this would be really good just to jam, right? Like, we could jam Rashida, Pricek, Raven. And then we would be on 3 cards. So if we do Rashida, Pricek, Raven, excuse me, we'd be on 3 cards. Mandatory would be on 4. Then we draw 3, 5, 6, 7. Then we could score basically the hostile, and yeah, whatever, we'll do that. It's fast. We can probably throw out 1 card. Also, a good thing about firing Rashida is we're more likely to hit what's it called? Cast and call. So it looks like they set up their deck to put Making an Entrance and Mystic on the top because they didn't want to draw them. But like, the way I see it when you have 100 cards is you should just trash them, right? So you can see deeper. Because this lets you trash all 6. Like, if they're all not great cards, I trash them. But it looks like Deuces Wild is good enough. Maybe that's why you don't trash all of them, just to ensure that you can draw the Deuces Wild. Maybe. This game's gonna go fast enough though. They're not gonna deck themselves, right? Caddy, up on 6 credits. Clicking for a credit. They're in that sure gamble and they're just playing in casts. So yeah, we'll see what we get here. Drone deployment, that'd be good. All right, we have another price hack. So we could slow roll the hostile or we can discard a card. It looks like our cards are pretty good. That seems like a hard thing to deal with. Raven into double price hack. I've had worse. They're definitely showing up in this list, and we need to pay attention to where they are. None so far. Other cards we need to pay attention to are consoles. Patchwork shows up a lot, but even cards like Maw and Turntable could be very meaningful in this matchup. Patchwork is generally the good economy one, which is we care about economy. We care about money. Caddy up to 10. We also do have to watch out for the Stargates, for the Wanton. Talk about Stargate coming down. So now they're considering making a run. It is a run. So hard hitting news is online. They're going to see 3. It's high profile target, border control price hack. HPT, generally good hit. We have no recursion. We don't have a preemptive in this deck. So if the HPT is out, we lost half of our meat damage. And some of our more flexible meat damage as well. Border control also is just a good trash. Yeah, so they're going to give us the HPT. We also know the next card is a price hack after that. Price hack doesn't fire against Stargate. It's the reason why Hokusai is better, because they have to access it. If I'm not mistaken, that's a free Dirty Laundry, which is going to just hit a border control. So just value, or just money, excuse me. HPT. Okay, so I guess we want to ice up R&D. If this fires, we get a credit back, which is kind of nice. An SDS also would be pretty sweet here because we can trash Stargate. Again, we're also waiting on the retrieval run for the Fem, and they just hit a 0 and a liberated. 0, a huge include. One of the other good reasons why playing max 100 cards seems really fun right now. Around 12 credits, cast ticking down. They have good money. Like, this is all you need. That's really good money. Mystic a turn, daily cast a turn, caddy if you need to. Deuces, gambles, dirty laundries. It's good. Anarch with free card draw is just good enough. I wonder if someone actually is gonna like competitively figure out like a 70 card max deck is actually perfect. And like the loss of the Kakago and some of the grindier decks, that was kind of one of the benefits of playing a huge card deck, but maybe that means you can play a slightly smaller thing. Also no more DDoS, that's actually a big loss to that deck. Patchwork coming down lets them discard a card, which we kind of care about them discarding. I don't think they used it this turn, did they? No, they didn't, so that's kind of a loss of value. Third and final prize deck, they know that. So we can score this with 2 tokens. That's probably always the play. We don't have to worry about turntable. Here, I think our worst card is probably the third prize deck. So now in theory, we can like ensure that we get cast and call down. Taka, Orchestra, so they can now deal with code gates. We have 3 Mouseless in this deck at Afshar. That might be it. Not threatening to res too much ice. The Afshar is 5 for them. Gamble for 6. This remote, still good. We need to make sure we keep the credits for this remote. And we have to watch out for the Wanton that's going to come in eventually. Luckily the... Oh, it's not a Data Raven. Meh. Probably just score the Hostile. Gives us money to res. Then from there... Ooh, Faust, of course. Oh, Faust? Faust. Do you res the border control? Yeah, it's 2 cards. Or 1 card and a credit back, it's fine. Grind will always exist though. They brought Bioethics. Bioethics though, I don't think people will play it as grind. The recursion's not good enough. I think the only way that Bioethics is really going to see play is through Burst. The sort of grind Bioethics is going to exist as like, if you don't deal with this, I'm going to score agendas out, as opposed to like, I'm going to recur this until you die. Or flatline, right? That's the way I see it. It's a credit back. So yeah, we really have to worry about Stargate. Consulting visit, global food, economic warfare. So they're gonna know that we draw the consulting. They could always just like trash the consulting or run back for the food, but they're gonna trash the food, so that's now in archives. Again, still 2 net damage, or sorry, 2 meat damage or a tag. And Caddy's on 3. Okay. So we hit the consulting. There's no real combo we can pull out here, right? Like economic warfare, it's not gonna do it. There's a very bioethics and RP with Oboe to score an open window, but that's probably it. Yeah, like there's a window version. I think also viral weaponization is probably a bit better. But yeah, I like totally what you mean. Like you can get them to low cards where now they're forked between not like dying and contesting the board. Bioethics is fun in Cronus to snipe breakers early game, and you grab them with Neuro if they do run. Yeah, Bioethics though got a lot worse without Kakago, obviously. But the fact that like Complete Image Obokata is like really hard to play around without Film Critic, I think Complete Image is just a nutty card. We played out of the first GNK this year, and it was like surprisingly effective. But like sniping breakers, the thing is with Cronus is people play their breakers if they're worried about Cronus damage. So I don't think you can really get any good value. They have money. They threw out a Mystic, get a credit. We always could like pull an ice here if we really need to. Oh, I guess the reason why they didn't want to like, trash the consulting and run back is that we could shuffle the deck. So there's some good reasons. Econ, Winchester, IPO. They probably trust the Winchester, right? Even on R&D, yeah, they do. That's a shame. I guess we'll never play this card. So now we know we're drawing an economic warfare, which again, they always just like pull caddy. Running archives, so it's 2 meat damage or a tag. I feel like Anarchy always take the meat damage, but now with Faust it's a bit different. Unless they have I've had worse in there. It also gives them a Mystic credit, so value. I think Cronus is sleeper good in this meta since it also works with 0. Oh, that's neat. That is actually really cool. I just don't think Anar cares. If like zero always hits a worse card in your hand, zero's still good, isn't it? Okay, I feel like we need to do something smart here. And I don't know what it is. It's probably Rashido, let's be honest. If we draw one, we draw into an IPO, which will make their next Stargate a bit worse. So I don't want to do that. Not amazing. Run Amok got trashed. Ooh, that's a good card, especially when they play for free with Mystic Miami. That's kind of scary for this remote. So still this remote has 2 price X. It's now comes down to clicks, right? And like if we just draw a big agenda here, we'll just cast and call it. Like cast and call on the server, like they have to run this remote and take 4 tags. Like we cast and call an SDS drone deployment. Like this is not paperclip. Like they can't trash one of these, or they could. They just probably have another one. But like, you see what I mean? I don't know. I'd consider like pulling a cast and call with Atlas just so we could play it, even though the Atlas token is obviously incredibly powerful. We need them to interact with us. Like we need a jam just so they're actually spending money, because that's kind of the issue with Faust right now. Is we need to get them to a point where they're spending credits so that we actually can bounce back by like pulling an economic warfare, and then hard hitting use them. Wonder if the play with counter for Alice and install, you can get fork attacks. Yeah, I think that it could have been fair. I feel like I'm playing a bit too conservatively, but with Rashida, the chance of us drawing the card the following turn seems pretty high. I don't know. There's still a lot of agendas in there. Okay, apparently not. Oh, we do have a casting call at least. So do we do it? Do we cast and call an SDS? I think we cast and call an SDS. Yeah, why not? Let's see how good this is. Wait, where is it? Oh, we don't have SDS. We only have foods, of course. So we install the food. Unfortunately, we have to discard cards, which is obviously a bummer. If we don't do advance, we're not threatening to win. So we're gonna have to throw cards out. Now this is a lot of tags. Data Raven, the Global Food Initiative, 2 tags, and a double price X. So the boom threat is legitimate. We also have this token here, so we're gonna have to throw some stuff out. Only 2 cards. That seems fine. Yeah, we did cut SDS. Excuse me. By SDS, I just meant our 3-pointer. The SDS ability doesn't matter too much as it would be good to trash Stargate. But yeah, they're now basically forked. Because if they don't stop us to steal this, we can always use the last token to pull a hostile takeover. So they have 4 clicks to basically figure this one out. Okay, no worries. Drop IPO? Yeah, IPO is a lot worse than too big to fail. Well, yeah, because we're probably going to res ice. Obviously, this card is unplayable when you're over 10. Now with Stargate, like they probably still need 2 turns to be able to get 2 agendas off of R&D, but they always can just like run through border control. We also can stop a Stargate if it's like critical, right? Like you can Stargate, we can say no. Hippo? I don't think we care about this. I actually can't break all the subroutines, so this is fine. I don't think we need a lot of money. I should have considered this a bit more. Maybe spending money here is just wrong. Audacity, yeah, we just have 1. So they're gonna break this. Spending money might have been incorrect. The thing is they can't break all the subroutines because it's installed in HQ. So if they don't Faust this is 5 credits. Admittedly, one of them is bad publicity, but then Hippo can't work. Alright, so they get single access here. They have 1 trashable. That's the TBTF, which is a lot of money for them. They hit the Audacity. That's scary. We actually, in theory, didn't have to even double advance this. We could have played another econ card. We could have played IPO. We could have gotten Global Food Initiative advanced. Okay, I don't think we care about this. If they hippo this, it's fine. Oh, actually, yeah, it's fine. It eats the hippo. No, do we care about that? Do we just stop this? Well, it's too late now. They'd have to hippo it now if they could. Or if they wanted to. Atlas, Economic Warfare Hedge Fund. Uh-oh. So next turn they could definitely still win, right? Like you have to do a normal run on R&D, not a Stargate run, then hippo the border control, then do a Stargate run. I don't know. They need to get a lucky axis. Okay, this is still 2 meat damage or a tag. And the tag is not something we can easily capitalize on. So it's probably the meat. Yeah, they hit I've had worse in a hunting grounds. So they drew 3. Okay. Now with the final hostile, there's 2 hostiles left. We are on game point. Casting Call made that food really hard to score. Economic Warfare seems like the least valuable card. And they have basically 1 turn to hit 2 agendas. So they did get through, like, what? 40 cards? That's a whole deck. That's where you play Levy. Top of R&D isn't an agenda. Yeah, you're right. The top card isn't. We know the top 1 card. And it's, we can look it up. It's a hedge fund. So the chance of hitting 2 agendas is pretty low. If they want in here, it's fine. If they Stargate, yeah, we do just border control, and then they could install a second Stargate and run. Yeah, now they're just running, so they're just going to basically hippo this. So I don't think it's likely we lose, unless it's 2 agendas underneath it. They also break all the subroutines, which is 2 cards. I don't think that's going to be an issue for them. We don't ever fire this, no? No, we want them to use the hippo. Like, this is a dead click anyways. So that's game. It doesn't have to be gamed. Like, in theory, Stargate could trash the top card, and then they could run and steal 2 agendas. Like, we could lose here. But this is a hedge fund. So they need to Stargate, trash hedge fund, run agenda. And if that's the case, though, in the last run, you're right. We use the Atlas token and pull a hostile to hand, which will shuffle the deck. Yeah, TBF mouseless. Okay, so we can't lose anymore. Yeah, you get Atlas counter stuff, but yeah, you're totally right. Dang. A lot of agendas are out of the game right now, right? Like, we're looking at 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 agenda points. I guess that's like what it should be, right? Half the deck, half the agendas. So 1 unknown in archives. Gotta add if there's 2 in hand. So that's Afshar again. That's either 2 credits on a card or 5 credits. Oh, sorry. You broke without encountering, so I fired. Yeah, cool. Single axis HPT, high profile target, twice the tags and damage. So there's no way they can win here unless we're running a legitimate 3-pointer. And again, if that's one of the big strengths of food, casting call being good and all that, but like otherwise they could have easily been on game point. So that's good game. The idea is that we pull a hostile, they have no way to stop it, and we are off to the races. Man, Project Atlas still the strongest thing ever. Argus is fast. Yeah, they are. Good game. They quite are. Your econ star was good. And this is still pretty hard to get through. Data Raven, double prize deck, but you're right, like everyone's called, we're playing against Hunting Grounds in every deck we've played so far. Not that any of those decks have had the time to put on the table, but definitely true. It looks like also because, that's the thing is I play usually 112, that maybe those 12 extra card slots get you the spicy stuff. Because they don't play a lot of disruption in this deck, besides the run amok. It looks like they've just been playing Axis and like Econ. Like I love playing Wanton, I love playing Imp, Maw, stuff like that shows up in some of the lists I play. And of course we didn't even see half the deck, so maybe that's just the way that it turned out. But I value that a lot more than like making an entrance, I think. Forcing the corp to like kind of lose their weight, I think is a bit more valuable to me. Need some Guru and Whistleblower tech. Whistleblower actually doesn't do anything against casting call. No, it does. We went through that. Guru though. Argus will always be a strong choice. Yeah. There was a point in the game where like taking the 2 meat damage wasn't that big of a deal. Like, let's talk about it. The 2 meat damage tax on this thing doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. Price tag makes it a bit different, but it doesn't really matter. If you have 2 tags, you're dead to boom. If you have 2 tags, you're dead to boom. Now, it does matter if you have a small amount of tags and you have some small amount of cards in hand, because then, yeah, double high profile target matters. But otherwise, I don't think the amount of cards you have it matter. People aren't running Snare in Argus, which I wish they did more. Classically, against against Anarch, Anarchs would just take the damage with I've Worse and Bin Breakers. Like, it's not really an issue. Argus decks aren't really running Arc Lockdown. Like, this ability is definitely good, but, like, I'd argue that like the only reason where this ability matters is again with Prisec or with you don't have the tempo to draw and contest the remote at the same time where you have to take the tag. Like that does come up where you run and it's like, okay, if I take the damage, it's 4 damage for this. Like Prisec makes that valuable. But like running R&D, just take the damage all the time. Like the game is gonna be so fast. The fact that you lost your like first Hushuk or now that you're like your what's that card I don't like? What's that Shaper one that gives you a credit when you break all subroutines? Like the fact that you lost that piece of hardware, good. Who cares? Although Faust gets popular, it loses some of its early game power. It does, but also on the other side, that's one of the reasons where the meat damage does matter. Now, what I'd be interested in is if the Faust ability, or sorry, the Argus ability, not Cuban, no, the hardware. It's 3 to install, gives you 1 MU. Cyberdelia, thank you. Cuban is very similar. Yeah, it's exactly how it's the same sort of ability. Interestingly enough, like I think punitive decks, and I don't think Argus is specifically the best punitive deck. I think the big thing with Argus is you want that ability to fire as often as possible. It's like personal evolution with 1-pointers. Like people used to play 20 agenda 1-pointer decks. And I think that's fun and interesting and might be, I don't know if there's enough good 1-pointers. That deck really needed profiteering, I guess. But like I think Whale and Punitive seems pretty good right now. You can have the economy if you want it. Again, City Works Project is a heck of a card, and you have Punitive in faction and dedication. Like that stuff seems good too. With Argus, maybe, but I imagine you just want the outfit money for more econ for the puny. Cuban's real fun, which is way better supported than Shaper. Cuban is really fun. Cuban's like one of those tools for aggressive Shaper that just hasn't come together. Like we're so close to that to be like, oh, Shaper, Inversificator, aggro, go. They're just short 1 or 2. Like they need a Dirty Laundry-esque card. They need a Bravado-esque card. And like the closest you've seen to that is like in Jez where they can play like Hot Pursuit. I don't know. I want a Kiko to be good. Standoff is great. Yeah, Standoff is okay. The thing is like Turntable though seems pretty good if people are playing Food. So I don't know how great Standoff is, but Standoff is a fun card. Anywho, I haven't had dinner and it's 11:30, so all those things are lining up perfectly for me at least. If you just tuned in, apologies. It lined up terribly for you, but at least the VOD will be there. Keep on in the Faust Ashes Lad deck's an interesting proposition. That is kind of cool, isn't it? I mean, you might be tight though. I don't think we saw a console, but they did double Rozeki, Faust, Paperclip, and Golo too. That's it for today. Sorry it's been a rough week. We haven't had enough time to put out content, and it's going to be a rough week. Probably the next one too. A lot of stuff is happening. This weekend, again, if you are checking it out, Nisei is doing the Black Lives Matter tournament. They are going to be matching donations. It's on Saturday. Even if you're not playing, go check that out. That is on Nisei's stream, which is Nisei Twitch channel. It's Project Nisei. Excuse me. Okay, heresy. So do check that out. That's on Saturday. Again, new cards coming out at the end of the year, and you want to sign up and register for Continental Championships. They're starting in a couple weeks. Go check that stuff out. Get prepared. See the new meta. Get some rest and food. Hope you guys do it for the B-Day month. Thank you. Thanks for the stream. Hey, cheers, Thanos. Thanks for the stream. Cheers. Andos. Glad you can make it. Vincent, what's up? Have a good night. Thank you, too. That's all. We'll be back in a bit. Again, I don't know if I can stream this weekend. Maybe for a bit. We'll see how things go. But largely, it's Maddie's weekend, so we're going to celebrate. It'll be fun. That's largely it. Enjoy yourselves. Thanks to everyone who played games against. Thanks to everybody hanging out in chat. I know we didn't play that many games. We spent a lot of time talking. It's still a pleasure, at least for me, to do that. Hopefully for yourself as well. And if you're watching this on the VOD, take care of yourself. Hopefully it's doing well. Ciao.